All right, there we. All right, we fixed the technical difficulties. What's going on, people? Welcome to Throwdown Your Questions, episode 272. I'm your host, Tony Polanco, and tonight I'm joined by Emilio Lopez.
Kill you.
Chris Seeley.
Hey, what's up, everyone?
Carlos Romero.
Yo.
And Adam Vale.
What up, humans?
Hey, what's going on? Manny, do me a favor, say that I kill you again.
I kill you.
All right, because I didn't catch that last part, so I'm just going to edit that into the SoundCloud, and nobody will be the wiser. Unless you're watching it live. Anyway, man, actually, I just said that shit live. Whatever. Anyway, we're back with another one, and Brett will be here, I'm assuming, when he gets here, and Brian will be here. Actually, what's going on with Brian? Is he, like, saving the British monarchy again or something?
No,
he's building a bunker.
He's actually quite distraught since Prince Harry cannot call his new company royal.
Oh, real? Oh, yeah.
Shit.
So Brian's, weeping over that
He's
shit.
weeping
I guess.
over this. It's a very big issue that's happening out in the UK.
Yeah, all right. I think we got everything going here. All right, man. We're just gonna get right into it, man. Actually, no, we're not gonna get right into it. First things first. Very important, people. This is very important. We want to give a huge shout out to Mr. Torrance Davis for celebrating episode 400 of the Video Game Warzone. It finally aired, people. Finally aired.
That was it, right?
Series
Yeah,
finale.
that's it. Yeah, the series finale episode was like 3.5 hours. Manny and I popped into like the last half an hour and shit.
And Hip Hop Gamer showed up.
Hip hop, and of course, in usual hip hop gamer, thing, he didn't know how to set up Discord, even though he's done it a million times. And that used to happen on the Warzone back in the days. Like, they used to use TeamSpeak, right? And he would always fuck up, even though he was on the show every week. He always forgot how to manipulate it. It was fucking hilarious, So it was kind of appropriate. And then of course Torrance, forgetting that this is like the year 2020, he's asking me what happened to me in New Orleans. I'm like, dude, I can't tell those stories on air. Are you fucking kidding me? 5 years ago, 6 years ago, yeah, I would have said something, but nowadays, it's like, I'm not saying shit, man. I'm in the industry now, baby. I got to watch myself, Shit is crazy right now.
Tony went where? Did what?
I enjoyed the part where you were trying to where you did overpower hip hop. You spoke right over him. You wheelbarrowed over his ass, which is kind of hard because hip hop, he's always like the big presence and shit, but you managed to do it somehow.
He was tired. That's what it was. He could tell he was in his voice. He wasn't fighting hard.
Yeah. But yeah, I still need to listen. It was like 3.5 hours. Like Torrance went out in style, and a bunch of guys were there. John Shaw, Dirty Bird, no Jagon though. No Jagon, which is kind of
no Jagon. No.
The industry.
Who shall not be named.
Yeah, right. None of that shit. Which is interesting, man. Anyway, we're going to get right into these questions, man. All right, first up, we got Mr. Techno Fabulous, Call of Duty. So his question is, are console gamers ready to give up their favorite consoles and replace them with a controller and a service with no physical console? He's talking about shit like Stadia and GeForce Now, all that shit, a cloud service, Project X Cloud. So are console gamers willing to give up their consoles?
Yep.
All of them, Adam? All of them? Adam?
Well, it's never going to be 100% for anything, right?
Yeah.
No, it's not.
But I think the majority are because they're already doing it with other content, so it's not foreign to them.
I say, for me, no. But for the rest, for other people, I think it just depends on the person. I still don't think that. I think it'll be close, as far as the latency and all that other stuff. But I think the people that'll really once our internet services start getting up to par, I think it'll probably be more of a thing. But I don't think every console gamer is going to drop it. Especially especially the fighting game guys who are literally like, that shit, they are not going to drop their consoles.
That's a good point.
They're not going to drop their consoles. They're probably not going to drop what else they're playing on.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. You're right. The FGC guys, they need that precision. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So they're definitely going to give it up. This is what I said. I said this on Throwdown a bunch of times. Basically, at the moment, I don't think there's going to be like a huge turnaround when it comes to console gamers switching over to streaming shit. But I could see in like 20 years time, again, this is hypothetical, but it's probably going to happen. Let's say you're somebody that grew up with nothing but streaming services, right, where you have access to dozens of games, not even hundreds and hundreds, maybe potentially thousands of games. Why would you want to play a console that you have to put one game in at a time or download one game at a time? So I could see that, but at the same time, even then, and you brought this up, Manny, like there's going to be a section of gamers that need that precision, no matter how good the infrastructure gets in America, no matter how there probably will be, but like I
download that game. You could actually download it.
I mean, listen, if you could download the game, then you kind of resolve that problem. But there's always going to be latency, no matter, even if you can't perceive it, it's always going to be there. So they need to fix that. I know we talked about how they have like predictive programs or whatever to kind of circumvent that shit, but it's still not there yet. So yeah, in the interim, who knows what's going to happen when it comes to that, but right now, not going to happen. Obviously there's people that are playing it right now and enjoying it. And just to be fair, when I played Project X Cloud on Danny Pena's phone, I was playing Destiny 2, the shit worked perfectly, you know what I'm saying? But right now, I don't think consoles are going to go anywhere because, we get the same shit every console generation. That's the consoles. Consoles are done. It's like I don't think that's going to happen yet. Things are going to change this generation, obviously, but consoles, as you know them, where you could download your game and play your game, I don't think you have to worry about that in the immediate future. Chris, what's your take?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. I think early on, the main thing is holding back cloud adoption is just internet infrastructure. There's plenty of people in the U.S. that can't use Stadia or GeForce Now or whatever. The internet is just not that good, so they would have to have a console or hold on to it. And there's going to be holdouts. Like I wouldn't trust Stadia. Like I would trust GeForce a bit more because it's using your Steam purchases and stuff. But even that's questionable. You don't actually own anything. So, and with Stadia, you definitely don't own anything. So I inherently don't trust it, and I'm sure there's other people that feel the same way. It's like I don't really own the game. If Google shuts down Stadia or they pull something because some contract ran out with Activision or whoever, then I lose the game. So once those barriers are crossed, and I think, like Tony said, once it's a generational thing. Kids are going to grow up and go, "Hey, I can just watch whatever whenever I want. Why can't I play games the same way?" And then then everything is going to be xCloud and there'll be PS Cloud or something. That's it.
Oh God, yeah, right. But I'm glad you bring up that point because what's happening with GeForce Now, right? Activision pulled their entire catalog. Who was the next one?
Capcom.
Blizzard, yeah, Capcom. So yeah, it's like
Bethesda did theirs, but
Bethesda,
I have a feeling it's all going to come back.
Oh, it probably will, but just the fact that you could lose all of a fucking library at the blink of an eye. You know what I'm saying?
The library, you don't lose your games. You still
no. You don't lose your games. But what if you're just streaming the games? Like you don't have access to them anymore. What if you don't have those games in your computer? Understand? You lose access to them via your streaming. Via the streaming service.
So they can't run on the cloud machine.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We're talking about clouds. We're not talking about them taking away your downloads. We're not talking about like a PT situation. We're talking about if a game is on the cloud service or games from a publisher are on the cloud service, they could pull them shits out and you don't have access to them anymore, But unless you buy them individually, So, that's one of the things a lot of people don't seem to talk about, even though it's literally in the news all the time,
I think it's just what they care about. It's just like a lot of people were big into music and getting the box arts and the booklets, and same thing for movies, getting collectors. A lot of people don't give a shit, and that's why they're doing the Spotify's and the Netflix and all this stuff. They don't really care that they don't have those special features that you would normally get. I mean, hell, one of my favorite features is when you would have a director's commentary.
Yeah,
and some of it is actually on Netflix. Some movies actually have that option, but most of them don't. And even Blu-rays, some Blu-rays don't even do it anymore. So it's like some things are going to the wayside. People just don't care for it, so then they don't add it.
But there's a lot of problems with that too. Like look at the video streaming right now, right? You go on Netflix and watch something 1 month, and the next month it's gone.
Yeah.
And it's not just gone, it's gone from everything. It won't be on Hulu or Amazon, whatever, unless you buy it, right? So that becomes a problem for people because, you either have to have libraries of stuff if you want to enjoy it or count on the streaming service to keep the contracts going with whoever the publisher is. And once the publisher pulls it, like Warner Brothers, they just told Netflix to fuck off, and they're like, they make their own streaming service, they put their own content up. They don't give Netflix jack, Or you could be like Disney and just make your own, and then you start pulling those contracts back. So what happens when that happens with video games? So Google gets in there, and then you have xCloud, and you have Nvidia, all fighting for the same titles. What happens? One starts outbidding the other, then all of a sudden, Activision games are only on Stadia, and Capcom games are only on xCloud, and you get that. You're going to get the same bullshit right now that we face right now with video.
Yeah, for sure. Carlos, what's your take, bro?
Whether the question is, will console gamers ever abandon systems for streaming service? I think abandon is the wrong term to use. It's like, because the way technology is going, it's inevitable. Whether console gamers like it or not, they're gonna have to transition. I don't know how. I still foresee maybe consoles going on for maybe 1, maybe 2 more generations after this, maybe even 3. But after that, it's like, it's really hard to tell that if consoles are going to be viable in a couple of more generations. I think console gamers will have to transition regardless. It's something that's sort of inevitable.
Yeah, I agree with that. Again, I've talked about this before. I don't like that fact personally, but streaming is where gaming is going, because that's where movies have gone, that's where music's gone. Makes no sense that gaming, which is a digital platform, would not transition to complete streaming. Not a fan, but that's just how it is, man.
Yeah, I think the question should be, I think the answer is, it's not that console gamers will abandon systems. It's more like systems will abandon console gamers.
Damn, that's deep right there, son. Fuck. Mind blown. Shit. PS9 in 2078 confirmed. Barry, man, crazy. All right, let's move on here. Oh, by the way, go ahead. What, Tony.
Excuse me. The only way I would see maybe consoles kind of thriving is sort of the Nintendo-ish route, where they have the Switch, but sort of maybe like a tablet type of thing would be something like that, or a phone kind of hybrid thing. That's the only thing I would see sort of maybe like the next leap when it comes to consoles. But other than that, just traditional.
It would just get smaller.
Yeah, it just gets smaller, and it's multi-purpose and it's portable and all that. So, but having another box right next to you, just dedicated to play video games, I think it's not. I don't think it's going to be viable in a couple of more generations.
Xbox even said that their new one looks like a computer, and it's like almost trying to get that in the mindset of gamers, like
a computer.
A computer.
I didn't think about that. You're right, because it's like maybe it is. And again, what is Microsoft trying to do? They're trying to just make their Xbox into a service. It's not really about a console anymore. It's just about getting Xbox Live, whatever, into everything.
And with that, so even if, let's say, you can't play the games because you don't have the graphics card or whatever, but it's like, do you have one of these boxes? The one that looks like
one of these, man?
Get xCloud. You don't need a special card, but it looks like this. Just put 2 and 2 together.
That shit is crazy. By the way, tonight's show is sponsored by Samurai Showdown over on Adam's left. That's crazy. All right. Let us move on to question number deuce, which I conveniently have ready. All right, so the question is from Johnny W. Uppercut, man. By the way, this is the first of many, next gen type of questions, because that's what we're talking about now. Anyway, his first question is, which game developer will break out big next generation? For example, this generation developers who broke out were Guerrilla Games, Obsidian, Ninja Theory, and many others. So yeah, who do we think is going to have a big breakthrough next generation?
The weird thing is, it's an
interesting question. Yeah,
Guerrilla and Obsidian had one game this generation.
Yeah,
2 for Guerrilla.
Was Horizon and Killzone Shadowfall.
Yeah, but let's just be real. Yeah. Let's just be real. Killzone Shadowfall. Nobody's talking about that.
No, but yeah, he's talking about that. But they had 2.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he-
technically too. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's using the same engine that's running.
Oh no, it is. Yeah, but that was in the breakout game for them. The breakout game for them. But here's the funny thing. But here's the thing. But on that same point, Guerrilla Games already broke out last generation with Killzone.
Killzone.
You know, so that I wouldn't count them as a current gen breakthrough. Horizon Zero Dawn is obviously a breakthrough, right? Like, you know, like a big rejuvenating game for the company. But the company was already big. And Obsidian, they've been hot for a while. You know,
I mean, New Vegas.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. You know.
Yeah, Ninja Theory too. They I mean, they had a lot of games before.
Yeah, they did. Yeah. So yeah, it's. By the way, I've been thinking about this question the whole afternoon. I still can't really come up with anything because,
Well,
like,
what about the guys that did the Batman series that went missing for the longest time?
they had the breakout already. Rocksteady?
Almost 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, but they already had.
They broke out. Yeah.
Yeah, they broke out.
Yeah.
Just because they've
They
lapsed.
broke out on
in
both ends. They
releases.
broke out with the game and they broke out making games.
Nah.
Yeah.
I'll give you an
Well, how-
example.
Oh, go ahead.
No, Carlos, go ahead, bro.
I'll give you an example of a studio that broke out this generation. It's like Studio MHDR or
Oh,
MHR.
yeah. There you go. That's a great
breakout.
example.
No one knew who they were, and then Cuphead came out, and now they're way bigger than they were before. So
Well,
that's
They're pretty much that was their first game. That was their first game.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that was their
So they
breakout
break out-
game.
Yeah, that was their breakout.
Yeah, this is a tough one because I mean, if Rico is here, but like Falcom, you know, or something like that, NIS or NIS or whatever they want to call themselves. I don't think they're gonna have breakouts. Yeah,
maybe a better question. Not to diss on the question.
I was about to say, bro, shit, man, you don't like the questions we
My
get?
question better, son.
It's like what studio would make a comeback?
I mean, yeah,
No,
yeah,
I mean a breakout is fine. I mean,
breakout. Yeah,
It's fine, but it's really hard to predict because a lot of it involves studios that we know nothing about.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
I mean, we could look at
No.
what is in development too. What games are currently in the waiting in the wings.
yeah. I kind of see it as studios that are currently existing that we all know about that are good studios, but don't have a hit yet. That's how I'm taking the question. You know what I'm saying? So it has to be a studio. It's not like a studio that we don't know about. It's a studio that currently exists, but just hasn't had that that massive breakout. That's how I'm taking it.
I would say
yeah, go ahead.
Compulsion Games needs a breakout.
But do you
More
think
than-
they will have one?
I don't know. I don't have a lot of faith. Like, was
Yeah.
We Happy Few a good game? You know, that's a tough one.
No.
I mean,
Yeah,
it
I
was
don't know
good enough for
about
Microsoft to buy them.
Yeah.
Well, they bought them because of the technology that they had, but that game bombed, man.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I would think
Yeah.
if they're working on something for Microsoft, like
Yeah.
it's more like they need something
Fair enough.
to happen.
Yeah. Yo, Brett, what's going on, man?
So people can hear me?
Yes, we can.
Sorry, it was 9 o'clock and suddenly it was 9:40.
Oh, these things happen, man.
Yeah,
You know.
you know.
These, but anyways, Brett, since you're here, the question that we're tackling right now is which game studio that exists right now do you think is gonna have a big breakout hit next generation? Now it has to be a studio that we know about. They're a good studio, but they don't have a massive hit on their hands yet, and they have the potential to have one next generation. In your estimation, if you need to think about that one, go ahead. Because I've been thinking about. I'm like, I don't know. You know, BioWare. They had one already. They had Mass Effect.
Well, I
They
mean,
had Dragon's Age.
Yeah.
yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
See,
we're more trying to think of studios that haven't had a big
like
breakout
up and
yet.
coming, dude. Well, think about it. BioWare has had massive fail after fail after fail. We said they were going to be dead if Anthem didn't succeed. To put my money on BioWare is really, quite honestly, the long shot at this point.
Yeah, no, I see what you're saying,
but-
but just to keep it to the spirit of the question, let's try to keep it to a studio that hasn't had a hit at all. You know, because I think that makes it more challenging too. Because we could say a bunch of studios that could get their shit together. You know, that's kind of easy.
No, Capcom is going to
Yeah,
be a real break
yeah.
with game
By the
company.
way, Capcom blew up this generation. You know, they finally came back.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
came back by
that's-
bringing old
that's-
shit back.
Yeah,
I don't think that there are many. I mean, God.
Brad, I know what you're trying. I know what you're trying to say, and I kind of agree with that. Like, I don't really see a lot of studios that currently exist that could be that studio. You know what I'm saying?
I have a
Even
question.
then- yes.
Is Ready at Dawn had a breakout hit? I mean, they've had a lot of really good games.
you could
The
make a
order what would have been.
you could make a small argument for the God of War games they produce on PSP, but you know what? I'm gonna allow it because
'Cause-
those games were big on PSP, but they were big on PSP. That's it.
Yeah.
You know.
And Okami was good, but it's not a huge hit.
Well, so it's rest in peace to Clover Studio. You know.
Clover.
So
honestly,
yeah, the Order 1886 is like sort of a predecessor of what they can do for the next generation.
All right.
I don't,
So we'll stick with that. Because we're not making a just a single game. We could list a bunch of them. So Ready at Dawn, I'm going to go with that one. That's a good answer.
can I say Black Isle?
The Black Isle, yes, you can. Brett, what's your case for them?
Black Isle has they've always been a really talented group, and they've come out with some of the most known games and favorite games of all time, but they've never really gotten their due for it. I mean, there's Fallout. Which one was it?
Fallout 2?
No, the one after 3 that was. I'm blanking on the name.
That's Obsidian you're talking about.
Yeah. Obsidian, Black Isle, same people.
Yeah, but Obsidian already had their hit with Fallout New Vegas. You know.
Yeah, New Vegas. There we go. Was that a hit or was that a cult favorite?
I think it was a hit, like both financially and critically. We could look into that if you want, but I believe.
I think it was. I think there was actually beef with BioWare because it wasn't as financially successful as they wanted it to be.
Yeah, because obviously nowadays, people speak about it very, very favorably, but maybe it didn't sell as much.
At the time, it didn't sell as much as Bethesda wanted to, which is why they didn't keep giving Black Isle / Obsidian more Fallout titles. Then again, they put them under a lot of pressure and everything like that. And gave them.
It's
really
okay right here. By the way, this is from Wikipedia, so take it how you will. New Vegas was a commercial success, shipping more than 5 million copies altogether, and is estimated to have sold around 12 million copies worldwide. That's pretty successful.
Yeah, I guess I can't say that either. Man, it's tough.
It's a tough question. Yeah.
Or either a group that hasn't been made yet, from a group of veteran developers who are going to go and make a company that you've never heard of for the specific purpose to launch this game in that situation, or you're going to be picked up from somebody's going to comb through Steam and find a small developer that could possibly have a hit on their hands and bring them up.
Oh shit!
So many of those.
Yeah, I know you're right about that, and I'm glad you bring up that point because it just made me realize that. I think this right here, this question is kind of exposing the fact that we don't play a lot of indie games, because there probably are a lot of indie games or indie studios out there that could potentially break out next, but since we don't really play those games, we don't really.
My friend Pedro, I always forget their name.
I was dead to him.
Yeah.
Technically,
then again, my friend Pedro was a critical success. So you can't count
that was
that.
a huge hit.
Yeah, it's a cult. It's gonna be like a cult classic.
Yeah, so you can't even that couldn't answer the question either.
No, not really.
I think it could.
You think
No,
so?
because they've already had a massively successful game. They won video game awards.
The Pedro game is a breakout.
That is a breakout.
That is a
They've already
breakout.
had
one.
That's an
This is why I really like this question, because this is tough.
Because my friend Pedro, is it my friend Pedro? My name is my friend Pedro.
My friend Pedro, yeah, or Pedro,
Pedro. That game is critically acclaimed, but is it really a hit?
Yeah, it's a financial success. It is a financial success.
It probably is.
In indie terms, yes, it is.
Well, and see, that's the thing. Nobody specified, and that thing isn't making indie game money. Like, Minecraft was an indie game. That shit didn't make indie game money.
No, yeah, it made like
Minecraft
regular
Pedro was developed as an indie game, but it is a breakout success, both financially and critically.
I agree with that. By the way, go ahead, Carlos, and then I want to read some of the answers in the chat. Go ahead.
I'm gonna mention something really stupid, and before you guys laugh, let me finish. Let me finish. Yeah, check this out. This is gonna sound stupid when I say it. Platinum Games.
Platinum Games already blew up in last gen.
Let him finish.
But they're like.
Yeah. Oh damn! I didn't let you finish. My bad, son. It was just a reaction,
Yo, man. So they have a lot of fucking amazing games, But are any of their games like top tier hits?
All right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there are. By the way, I do. Goose, I'm glad you asked the question. He goes, you guys need to define what a breakout is. We will do that for you. In this context, breakout is the game that put the studio on the map in a big way. Even though financial does like account for this too, I think it's like more of like this studio broke out because of this. People know this studio now because of this game. I think that's where we're kind of going at it from, you know. And in that context, Goose, because you said Remedy broke out this generation with I don't know what you said, but you said they broke out this generation. I disagree. I think they broke out last generation with Alan Wake. Alan Wake put them on the map. You know, you also
put Senua up there.
Yeah, he also said Techland is going to blow up. Techland already blew up with the Dead Island games. That put them on the map.
Okay, so let's change the definition a little bit because I'm seeing a problem here. We're defining it so narrowly that nothing fits this category. And that's going to be a problem because then we're just going to get to the point where we say we can't answer the question.
Okay, so you want to broaden it then, right?
Let's widen the scope a little bit.
Okay.
And kind of change it to what is a game that is successful amongst like hardcore, known amongst people, but hasn't reached the zeitgeist yet. Since we like to use that as a bar a lot of times, what game is going to break out into the mainstream audience?
What studio, we should say.
Or what studio is going to break out into the mainstream audience? Who's going to go from making cult games to making fucking... The best example I can give is Bloodborne. Bloodborne went from Dark Souls, was already known, but it was a favorite. But Bloodborne put From Software on the map in the name of in the mind of everybody who owns a fucking PlayStation. Everybody who owns a PlayStation knows what Bloodborne is.
Oh,
and
yeah.
They all know what Dark Souls is because Bloodborne.
Brett, I have to disagree. I hate to do this, but I have to disagree with you.
Dude, you're not going to teach me on Dark Souls.
Oh no, I know you're not. But let's just say I'm just going to say this: when you talk about difficult games, you don't say this is the Bloodborne of. You say the Dark Souls of.
But,
you know.
Yeah, but that's the thing, and that's where the context is changing. Dark Souls was known amongst certain crowds. I'm not talking about amongst certain crowds. I'm talking about everybody. So if this were a band, when do they stop being a successful play at a club band and sell out a fucking auditorium?
When they start doing covers of successful
bands.
So, that's how it works.
But yeah, when do you break out into the mainstream? Because Dark Souls was not a mainstream game. Bloodborne was. To everybody's surprise.
You make a mainstream game.
And this is partly why I said I didn't want to disagree with you, because I know for a fact Bloodborne took those motherfuckers to the stratosphere, but it was Dark Souls that, you know, first made us aware of them.
No, I agree, but let's make the mark the stratosphere, and that gives us more answers. Like,
you know what? Fair enough. Just so we could actually answer this fucking question.
But they haven't really fucking blown up.
Yeah, you know what? Let's go with that because that helps us answer the question a little bit more. You know, for sure. So yeah, then we can say shit like Platinum Games. You know, Platinum Games has been very successful, but they don't have that super stratosphere game yet. You know, so yeah, you could say them.
Let's go.
Yeah. By the way, the Yakuza studio, can I count them in that context then?
Yeah, because there's people who love Yakuza games, but I don't think that's super, like, everybody's played it. It's not fucking like Spider-Man or God of War saturated.
Yeah, right. But the reason I bring up the Yakuza is, actually, I think they're literally called Studio Yakuza or whatever. The reason I bring this is because this generation, we've seen them get bigger and bigger and bigger with every single game. So if any studio that I've seen has the potential to really break out, it's them. So that's my answer.
Dude, that's how I think we should be asking.
Yeah, I like this. I like this.
Who's on the cusp of ready to do something fucking awesome?
Yeah. All right.
Who's ready to be the next Naughty Dog, the next fucking.
Oh, yeah. So that's my answer. The Yakuza.
Still a hard question.
Yeah, no, I love this question.
Rockstar.
Yeah. The next Rockstar, right? All right, Adam. In that context, who do you think is going to be the next studio that's going to blow up next generation? If you want me to come back to you, I'll do that. I can come back to you.
It's because it just puts in money, right? Because if they're gonna blow up like that, then they need the budget. So I would say it's any of these new studios that Microsoft just picked up.
Okay, that's fair enough.
Because now they'll have the budget to make, that AAA title that we want to see.
You know what?
Well,
you know what? Again, by the way, in this context, I'm going to throw Ninja Theory in there.
yeah, that's
Damn it,
exactly
Tony!
it.
Damn it! I was trying to get it in there, and you fucking got it before me.
By the way,
You knew I was trying to get in there, and you stopped me so you could
Hey,
say it.
hey, you're the one that changed the rules, man. I just played
did.
by
Did
them.
We
I
already
just
mentioned Ninja Theory.
no, but
I mentioned compulsion game.
yeah, but Manny, we recontextualized the question. So in that new context, we can say Ninja Theory.
Dude, I would say Ninja Theory is hands down. Like we're actually seeing it. Like
Yeah.
Hellblade or Senua's Sacrifice 2,
Dude,
like the sequel.
that game's
The
gonna blow
first
up.
one, dude. The first one was fucking awesome, but it was not funded. It was not quite a full game. It was still in that AA stage. Now you know they're gonna put money behind it, and it's gonna fucking explode.
I agree.
not only that, but I played the demo for Bleeding. What is it?
Bleeding Edge.
Bleeding Edge.
Yeah.
That's an Overwatch fucking clone, man.
Oh wow.
So if that fucking hits, then
Yeah.
like they're throwing a lot of stuff, and some of it can stick, So if that bleeding's Edge,
Just bleeding edge. That's it.
Man, this is a stupid ass fucking name. Never mind, that's just not gonna fucking go successful. That's a stupid name.
Well, I mean, to be honest, they're not putting a huge investment into it. They have 3 games in development right now with 3 smaller teams within Ninja Theory. They're not blowing a lot of cash on these games, and that's the whole point. They want to be able to be viable and have multiple titles out, in a year, than just having like once every 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, you guys in the chat, do you agree with our new reassessment of what makes us a breakout? Just want to make sure we're all on the same page because all of us on the show seem to agree.
I got the easy, lazy answer though.
What is it?
Dude. Counterplay games.
What do they make? I'm drawing a blank on them.
They've made Duelist, which pretty much is nobody has ever heard of, and they're making Godfall, which is
Godfall. That's right.
Heavy trailers all over E3. So if you want to talk about nobody's ever heard of them, and now they're going to make a game that's going to kill it, there you go. But that's not as interesting an answer as the other ones I gave.
I mean, that would have probably answered the original intention of the question.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, if you're looking for the original, if you're looking for the answer to the original question, it's honestly too easy because you've already seen. Who have you seen trailers from that you've never heard of before? And that's the answer to the question. Who's getting money that you've not heard of?
Or or as we seen pretty recently, what was it, Mutant?
Biomutant. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if they're gonna blow up though.
I
like other answers better.
I don't think Biomutants is it's the name that's going to probably kill it because it's kind of a generic name. It's kind of like Ancestors.
It's actually called Biomutants?
Yes,
Yeah,
Biomutant. Biomutant.
That seems like if you were reading a comic book about somebody making a comic book, the person in that comic book would call their comic book Biomutants.
Yeah, it sounds like a generic title.
It sounds like a Jamal John's project, Biofreak.
Oh shit! All right. But did we answer the question? I think we gave some pretty good answers here.
Yeah.
Chris, you got any more in that context?
No, I was already thinking ahead to the next question.
Okay, fair enough.
An interesting answer.
All right. So, by the way,
that's not fair.
Yeah,
Chris is already 2 steps ahead of us.
By the way, Brett, the next question is a mirror of the one we just answered, man. So let's do that. It's crazy right now. All right, let me.
Believe it or not, I have no idea what the next question is, and I do that on purpose so you guys can hear my initial reaction.
Yeah. All right, so there's the question up there. Okay, so in that context, is there a game developer that you think could potentially decline next generation?
Bethesda.
And Brett, you're gonna love this. He goes, the big example, BioWare. That this generation did decline. So which studio will decline next generation?
Yeah, I'm gonna say to Manny's little cough comment there. They're already down on Bedrock. They can't decline further. All right.
Bang.
Give a fucking break.
Brett. If Elder Scrolls is a failure, Oh, they go definitely. They.
Oh, dude, Elder Scrolls won't be a failure. Come on.
Yeah,
That's a
Elder
gimme.
Scrolls. Yeah.
Well, that's what you say,
We've
man.
decided to outsource Elder Scrolls to some Chinese studio that you've never heard of, and it will have lots and lots of
Look.
microtransactions.
I'm gonna say this, and this is coming from a guy who's not a Bethesda fan particularly. I'm not worried about those guys. They're gonna be just fine. Next generation. If the new Elder Scrolls is dope and the new proper Fallout is dope, they're good to go. You know.
Well, they're doing Doom. That's them, right? Aren't they?
Oh, yeah, well, we're talking. Okay, let's the studios that make those games, because obviously all of Bethesda would do Wolfenstein, they do Doom. They're good.
Yeah.
The actual studio, but we're talking about the guys. What's their actual name? Bethesda Softworks. Bethesda Softworks. I'm not worried about
So
them.
now, aren't they for sale?
Yes, I'm even I know this is just a joke name, but Skyrim 2, that's gonna be a success, and Fallout 5, that's gonna be pretty good too. So I'm not worried about them.
Yeah.
BioWare's already down in the dumps, so
Yeah. Little note for anybody who wants the Doom, the new one, Eternal. It's $40 on CD keys.
excuse me.
They want to get that. Yeah.
Okay,
what?
I gotta say a couple of things. Number one, everybody gives Bethesda shit, but Doom is fucking awesome. I think people
Oh,
forget that,
yeah.
like, Bethesda
No,
sucks.
because we're talking about Bethesda Softworks, the people that make
That's
Skyrim
it.
and
That's it.
fucking because the rest of Bethesda is fucking great, you know.
Yeah, they got they
Or Manny, the id software version, or or the ARM of them,
the id arm.
the
I
id
wanna
ARM,
point
id
out,
ARM.
on the note of Doom, though, and I shared this with Tony, I just want to share this with you guys because one of the very few genuinely nice things I have ever seen in gaming.
Oh
for a
yeah, let's talk
crotchety
about
fucking
that.
Bunch.
Yeah,
The subreddit for Animal Crossing and the subreddit for Doom have linked up to do a kind of several generous crossover events. They're posting pictures and crossover pictures to each other's games and have unified in a community that's basically just happy that their games are being released on the same day. So all the Doom well-wishers are being super nice to the Animal Crossing people, and the Animal Crossing people are miraculously, well, not miraculous, they're being nice to the Doom people. It's just this weird, strange, miraculous group of two very separate groups playing nice. And we hear so much bad stuff in this day and age. I just wanted to share it because it's like a happy puppy.
They're playing nice because they're two totally opposite sides of the spectrum. Yes, there's going to be like some crossover, but it's like they're almost in no competition at that point in time, right?
Yeah.
It's not like
It's
not like
nice.
Metal Gear. It's not like Metal Gear being released the same day as fucking Mad Max.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's true, but it's nice to see gamers
yeah,
getting along.
the point is that it's like Brett said, that's the point, that gamers are actually getting along instead of going on Twitter and fighting each other like we see every day. You know what I'm saying?
Well, until the Doom guy goes, "Fucking Animal Crossing sucks."
Drink the blood from the lamb.
You're crazy.
One of the games does better and be like, "Oh man, Doom is the greatest game." Or
Sponsored by Septic
Actually, it
Flag.
started off from the official Doom Twitter making a comment on the I think official Animal Crossing Twitter.
I'm just imagining the
saying
Doom guys.
Congratulations on your launch.
That's cool. See, again, we need more of that. Yeah, because Manny, the other way around. It's like, we will destroy Animal Crossing.
destroy Animal Crossing. Or Phil goes to say, "Hey man, great job. What was it? On God of War." And then all the Xbox fans go, "You traitor!"
Well, that's why Phil Spencer was on the S tier of Sony ponies in that list that people made, because apparently he's done a lot to help Sony this generation.
Traitor! How dare you? No more exclusives!
By the way, I love any. Yeah, go ahead. I said I just love any excuse to do my death metal voice. We will destroy. Even though that's actually my Dr. Claw voice.
Dude, I was about to say you sound just like Dr. Claw.
Yeah, that's my Dr. Claw voice. The death metal voice will be different. Like, destroy them. Anyway, we're getting stupid right now, bro. What the fuck's the question? Oh yeah, which developer is going to decline next generation? Animal Crossing will die. I will rip out its spine. All right, stop. Game developers declining.
Who's really doing well?
who is the game developers declining?
I have an interesting answer.
Uh-oh.
I mean, who's
Chris,
out there?
Chris.
The high answer. I'm gonna say Rockstar Games.
Excuse me?
That's what I was gonna say. You stole my answer.
Oh.
Didn't they already do that?
No, not yet. They're still
No,
making money
man.
off GTA 5, baby.
Well, yeah, but like Red Dead.
Red Dead is
Online
still
was
making a
fucking-
shit.
Yeah, but
but Red
it's on
Dead.
that level, and
yeah.
eventually people will get tired of GTA 5. And
Yeah, Red Dead is still making a shit ton of money. That's the thing, you know.
Is
And
it
I re-
really?
Yeah, it is
I
actually.
realize-
Go ahead, Chris.
that Dan Houser leaving is like he's taking all his writing talent with him. Like he's the reason that the key stories of GTA 5, the core characters of Red Dead, why they work. He wrote those stories,
His
right?
friends are leaving with him, so he's starting to do something else. He's not going off in the sunset. He's
No,
not gonna go to
I don't
Hawaii and
know.
chill?
It doesn't matter. If he retires or if he goes and does something
Ooh.
else, Rockstar doesn't have that talent. Doesn't
I
matter what he
agree.
does.
They could bring you back. They'll have that better talent. Oh,
But yeah, I think that I was thinking about this ever since we talked about it when he left, and I was like, man, that's a huge blow to the talent pool. And I remember Kristen asked me, why do you think he left? And I was like, basic answer, I think business drove him out. I think Take-Two is being more greedy. I think he probably had conflicts of interest with them, and he just decided to leave, or they pushed him out. One or the other happened. So it's a blow to them, right? It's not really a blow to him. He'll make royalties and money up the wazoo. He doesn't have to work another day in his life. But you lose that talent pool, and what happens when they work on GTA 6? What's that story going to be like? Or whatever. He's been the core of all those games.
This is gonna be all Trevor.
Chris, you bring up that's a great argument, man. Fuck, you know.
And then we hear there's another criminal type of game that just shows up out of nowhere from
And it just so happens to have that GTA flavor. I wonder why. Man. By the way, this question is actually kind of tougher than the last one. I'm like, what studio is doing pretty okay or good right now? And you see them going, oh fuck, they're gonna fall, aren't they?
I got one people may not like.
I know. Wait.
Oh, I know what it's gonna be. I know what it's gonna be. I'm not gonna say nothing. But Carlos, I think you and I are thinking the same thing. Now, Brad, I'm gonna only ask you one question. Just one question.
Yes.
Is it a Sony first party studio?
You know, I don't know. I
Oh,
don't think so.
Okay, never mind. That's not my answer then.
Okay,
Yeah. All right.
Go ahead, Brett.
Carlos, ND, right? Just throwing that out there.
Yeah.
Okay, Brett, go ahead. Man.
I mean, I know if it was Brian, definitely.
Oh yeah. All right, Brett, go ahead.
Hold on one second. You know what? Somebody else answers for me. I'm gonna make sure I do my homework before I drop this bomb. I'm gonna leave
All right.
you guys in
Okay.
suspense.
Okay, I'm gonna answer for Brian. I'm going to say that it's Naughty Dog because people will realize they've made shit games for 2 generations. Oh man.
Okay.
By the way, I'm not worried about Naughty Dog next generation. I think they're going to be all right next gen. You know.
He was channeling the spirit of Brian.
Yeah, that was Brian. You know, with my my shitty fucking British accent. You know, I was trying to be like Brian. I wasn't just doing my like stupid Cockney accent. Oh, it's gonna be Naughty Dog. It is.
Or it could just be my impression of Brian, which is like, I don't think that it's going to be. Totally unrelated accent.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to be just like Brian. Well, people will realize that Naughty Dog is a shit company. I've known that, but you motherfuckers will. The way he says it. Oh man! All right, Brett, go ahead, man.
Does anybody want to guess what my answer is going to be?
See, I thought it was going to be Naughty Dog, but no.
Hold on. And unless you have my answer, which no, actually no. Shit. Give us a hint.
None of y'all going to like it.
So.
Who?
Kojima Productions?
Kojima Productions?
There you
Excuse me! Oh, no.
I don't.
The chat's about to blow up right now, son.
I knew it. I'm like, he said you're all not gonna like it. I'm like,
Brett,
we all like Kojima, so it's probably that one.
No, but
painted a target on his head.
Yeah. No. But I agree with Brett on this one because Kojima is not that great. So Brett, I agree with you. Why am I Brian tonight, son?
Well, someone needs to.
Excuse me. All right, Brett, state your case, man.
Okay, so Kojima is a talented guy, but he's kind of out there. And as much as people love Death Stranding, there are far more people that want to shout about it than are actually really super into playing it. He kind of showed his hand in that when you give him control, he does weird, wacky stuff. And I think that's more of, I'm not saying he's going to make a bad game. I just don't think he has the prestige after showing his hand on Death Stranding. Because although it got a lot of critical awards, it's not. Nobody's describes it as a fun game.
No.
It's so his next title is going to be viewed with a little bit more skepticism instead of it's a Kojima game. Of course, I'm going to buy it.
Brian,
I don't think that's yes.
Jeff Keighley just texted me. He wanted to let you know that it won all the awards, but not video game award from the VGAs. He just wanted to let you know that.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I mean, it's critically acclaimed. It's one of those. It's critically acclaimed. It's a very good game. It is definitely an art piece, and that is not everybody's cup of tea. It doesn't have as much mass appeal as something like Metal Gear does. And so now, when everybody was inevitably going to buy Kojima's breakout game, they needed to check it out. It was surrounded by so much mystery. But one, I don't think you can play that card again. I don't think that's a trick you can do twice. And so he's going to have to be a little bit more transparent, and people I don't think aren't going to give him the benefit of the doubt. So while I don't think he's going to be like any kind of failure or critical slam or like a flop of a game, I don't think his next game is going to be as successful.
That's good. That's interesting.
That matches limits. It's not that I think he's going to fail, and I'm answering this question in a weird way. I just don't think he's going to be as successful. So technically, that's a decline.
So are you are you saying that Death Stranding is the Metal Gear Solid 2 of the new Kojima era?
Oh shit.
I'm saying Death Stranding is the video game equivalent of The Cure. It's not for everybody, but some people fucking love it.
You're talking about the band,
Cure,
right?
Band?
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure we're
A lot of people love The Cure.
A lot of people do, and a lot of people don't.
I don't care if Monday's black, Tuesday, Wednesday, heart attack. Those guys.
But Brett, a lot of people love The Cure. I wouldn't say a lot of people love Death Stranding. A lot of people respect it. A lot of people like it.
Maybe this is because I don't like The Cure, and that's showing through.
Yeah.
So
I don't care if Monday.
stop serenading me, Danny. Jesus. I don't even like it when they do it.
Damn.
I'll go next.
So yeah, that's my case. Is that it's a niche audience, and it blew up because of the spotlight. But I don't think that's a trick they can replicate twice. So and again, I want to clarify before people start sending me mail bombs. I'm not talking shit on Kojima. I think he's just more of an artist, and that's not great for mass consumption. So I've made a pretty decent case, right?
Yeah. I'm really curious to see what's going to happen next. But yeah, no, you definitely stated your case well.
It's definitely a case that I can, I don't want it to happen, but I could definitely see it for sure.
You know what I say about that? Spider-Man coming through the window tonight.
Yeah. All right, Carlos, go ahead, brother.
All right, so I'm about to piss off people.
Oh! You're gonna say Platinum Games?
Especially no, hell no. No, Platinum Games. I think Platinum Games is on the top tier list for me. Nier is one of my favorite games of the generation. No, this one's gonna piss off specifically two people in this room.
Whoa!
I'm gonna be one of them.
Yo,
no, or me and
or it's Tony and Manny.
I was about to say me and Manny because me and Manny have the same taste in games, so it's probably gonna be us too.
Or Adam and me.
Excuse me.
You never know.
What, you gonna piss yourself off, bro?
All right. If I say the two people, it's definitely gonna give out away who the hell I'm talking about. You want me to just say it?
Just say it,
the
man.
People. All right.
Actually, no. Name the game and let's see who it pisses off. Yeah, name the studio or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, because because now where people are going, yo, who is it? Who's it gonna be? Who's it gonna be? But if you give away the answer, it's gonna deflate all that. So give out the studio.
That's a good point. That's a good point. All right. Yo, people are gonna get pissed. From Software.
Oh, I know the two.
I am
And they're right
my
above
plane
me.
ticket. Hold on. I'm booking my plane ticket to come slap you.
Damn.
Confirmed. I'll see you Wednesday.
All right.
Look,
By the way, Carlos, you got to state your hit. Oh, by the way, Carlos, remember that mixtape we got at Mardi Gras? I got it right.
Oh shit!
In Louisiana, I should say the fucking mixtape. Excuse me, mix CD.
Yo, you want my mix CD?
You want my mix CD? This motherfucker just gives us a CD, you know. Anyway,
Yo, man, I don't even have a CD player.
Yes, man. All right, state your case. Why do you think From Software is going to have a decline next generation? And choose your words carefully, because Brett is already coming to cut you.
I mean, it's they were a really integral and important developer for not only this generation, for the latter part of the last generation, but they make the same types of. Yo, look at Brett.
Brett's ready to cut.
Keep talking.
By the way, for you guys listening at home, Brett is like sitting, he at the edge of his table, playing with his pocket knife.
Oh, it's not a pocket knife. It's a switchblade.
Oh, it's just shit. And he is showing off his tattoos too to make sure you know that he's very dangerous. All right, continue, Carlos.
I don't look. This is not what I want to happen. I'm just saying it's something that could possibly happen, especially from a studio that makes the same type of game all the time. And it's like, and it's not only that, but it's like predicated. It's a freaking genre. It's like the Dark Souls or the Demon Souls of, and it's like
it's the Dark Souls of Dark Souls.
Yeah, and it's like how can you live up to your own genre's name? It's like,
but that's already happened with Ghost of Tsushima, hasn't it?
But that's not even. I don't think that's a Dark Souls type.
I think he's not talking about Ghost of Tsushima. I think he's talking about the other one.
Well, no, I realized what you're saying.
Sekiro, yeah.
Excuse me. Sorry, Sekiro. I think Sekiro, while it was a good game, if you plot its success kind of amongst the Dark Souls games, it's kind of a fart in the wind. Nobody's talking about it. It doesn't have any fan base. It doesn't have any following. It doesn't have any evangelism behind it. People are still talking about Bloodborne more than they're talking about that game.
That is true.
I'm extremely disappointed in it.
I agree.
And its reception.
Well, it was missing a key thing that From Software has been doing well for several games,
Multiplayer.
and that's the co-op. Yeah. They took it out. I understand what they wanted to do with Sekiro. They wanted that kind of like samurai one-on-one sword fight feel, and you're alone against these odds. But that's not what people expected, right? The expectation was, oh, this is like Samurai Souls or Samurai Dark Souls. They're gonna do Neo their way, right? And that wasn't really the case, though.
I got it.
Yeah.
I got it.
Uh-oh.
I got it. Here it is. Here
What?
it is. You want me to throw this prediction out?
All right.
We can make a bet, man. I'll bet.
Oh, damn! It's that type of prediction. How much?
Okay, I think if this is about From Software, I'm already probably fielding the other half of the other side of the set is bet. So let's just tell me what I'm betting on.
If From Software does not release Bloodborne 2 or Bloodborne whatever next generation, they won't be as successful as this generation or even close.
See, here's my prediction. They learned that they need multiplayer for their games, and they're going to come back hot. This was their failure, man. Financially, it didn't make the bucks that the other games did, and it doesn't have the reception or the longevity. And I think if they're paying any attention, which From Software pays a lot of attention, they're actually a pretty good studio. They don't always listen or give a shit. They love trolling their audience, but I would buy it if this game were one big troll to their audience, just so they could go back to what they were doing. It's a Coca-Cola Classic New Coke kind of thing, but I think whatever the reason, they're going to go back to multiplayer, and that shit's anything that they do with co-op.
Yeah.
Pretty much anything. It's going to succeed.
By the way, before we go on, I just want to say that Sekiro, as of this moment, has shipped, not sold, shipped 3.8 million copies. So even
Not
though,
bad.
yeah, no, that's not bad at all. I just want to throw it out there. I'm going to check out how much Bloodborne sold, but I don't think we consider Sekiro a failure. You know what I'm saying?
I don't consider it a failure.
No.
I consider it a decline. And then same with Kojima.
Okay, fair enough.
Are we counting declines Because that seemed to be the nature of the question. Like,
Yeah.
if you're riding on high and you kind of drop down to just doing pretty good, that's still a decline.
Oh shit! By the way, Bloodborne has only sold 2 million copies.
So Sekiro sold more than Bloodborne?
Yeah, I mean, again, Wikipedia, take that with a grain of salt, but no, it's not. It's in Sekiro. I could be wrong.
No, it's not an exclusive.
It's not. Oh shit!
No, Activision published.
That's
Sekiro.
right. That's right.
So, they have a greater spread. So it's PC
Okay.
and Xbox.
Yeah. Okay. So Sekiro sold almost twice as much as Bloodborne, but again, it's multi-plat.
That does muddy the waters though, because they may not walk away knowing that they need to do like the core audience. Like Chris and I are on the same boat. Like, dude, you don't have multiplayer. If you ask any Souls player, like, why did he play Sekiro? Like, just didn't have multiplayer.
But let me just mention that's exactly why I'm choosing this studio, because they deviate slightly from their original formula, and people are not happy with it. You know, it's sort of the Call of Duty effect, where they have to have this, and this, and if they steer their ship a little bit more, it's like this doesn't feel like a From Software game to me. And From Software games are now the Souls / Bloodborne.
Well, they've done other things. I mean, Armored Core is not Dark Souls.
But people
they had those running in parallel. They had Kingsfield and Armored Core running in parallel. They're two completely different things. But From Software is known for both of them. They were trying something different with Sekiro, but they could go back to formula. That Elden Ring game is coming out next gen.
Ooh.
You know?
And also From Software did do that crazy virtual game too, the VR game. It was totally in another direction.
I will also say though that most of the most successful companies are one-trick ponies. Most successful games.
That's true. That is true.
Rockstar is definitely guilty of that.
By the way,
if you carve out a niche and people just ask for, hey, we want you to make a new and updated thing, like that's kind of thing with Fallout and whatnot. Like this for instance, everybody got so pissed with Fallout 76. Like, we didn't ask for this. We just want you to put out a new Fallout game every 5 to 10 years. And then and then an Elder Scrolls game, and then a Fallout game, and Bethesda's like, we don't want to do just Elder Scrolls and then Fallout and then Elder Scrolls on repeat forever. And to which the gaming community went, shut the fuck up and make Elder Scrolls.
Yeah. By the way, just because we'd like to get our facts straight here, Sekiro is actually the best-selling game from Software.
Damn. Okay. I'm off on that then.
And Bloodborne is their least successful game.
Well, that's because it was an exclusive.
That's what it is.
PlayStation.
But to be fair, Dark Souls 1 and 2 sold. Dark Souls 2 sold 2 million, so it sold a little bit more than Bloodborne, which was only on a single console. But Dark Souls, the original one, almost sold 3 million. But yeah, Sekiro is their most successful game.
Tony,
what about Demon Souls?
Oh, I could check that out, but I doubt that one.
PS3.
Yeah.
But wasn't Dark Souls for last gen title? So it not only did it get that money sold, it also got the remaster.
Yeah, and it is, and also Carlos, it was also multi-plat.
Yep, and it was on the Switch.
Damn. Hold on, that cannot be right for Demon Souls. No, that's just what it debuted. Hold on, because this at 39,000. It must have sold more than that.
Not many people bought Demon Souls.
Yeah. Dark Souls 3 sold 3 million, a little under what Sekiro did. So Sekiro is their most successful game.
I'm surprised by that. I'm genuinely shocked because I've not met anybody who's really bought that game, and I've not really heard much about it. Maybe I'm just running the wrong circles.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is, man.
So they have nowhere to go but down.
Yeah, Demon Souls in America sold 280,000.
Demon Souls.
Yeah, Demon Souls. Yeah, what did I say?
Demon Souls.
With those numbers, I'll concede you could be right. They could further stray from what the community is asking from them because they made more money, and that is often the downfall of big studios: is they chase the dollar, they lose their original supporters, and then kind of collapse under their own weight. So, no, fuck you.
Fuck you, damn.
Knife retracted, and airfare refund.
Yeah. I've canceled my ticket. I put my pocket knife away. We cool.
I already got in the car. I'm driving to El Paso.
Yeah. All right. Who didn't go? Adam, why don't you go? Which studio do you think is gonna have a decline next generation?
GeForce Now.
No, it's going to be Rockstar.
Wait, who?
No, they're going to get Rockstar.
Oh, Rockstar.
Unless they bring back table tennis pinball, like table tennis game. Also, if they bring back Thrasher, because remember they did make a skateboarding game. So I think they need to expand. They can't keep just riding these two games.
Yeah, I think it's not really expand. Just make more. Like they used to. Manny, what studio do you think is going to have a decline next generation?
A decline. Huh.
Can I say something to give Manny a little bit more time?
Sure.
I don't think Rockstar is going to do Red Dead Redemption on the next gen.
I don't think so either.
I don't think so either.
I don't think so either.
I think they
Narratively,
will
it
do
doesn't even make
GTA
sense.
6. I think they'll do GTA 6.
Actually, you know what? I'm going to make a bold prediction right now.
You want to make a bet?
Carlos, let's see if you want to make a bet. I think GTA 6 is going to be the only game Rockstar releases next generation.
No, I agree.
Okay, I knew you were going to take a bet because you're going to agree with me. Yeah, I think that's going to be the only game they release next gen. I think they're going to re-release Red Dead Redemption 2 on next consoles and shit. But other than that, GTA 6 is going to be the only game. Think about it. This generation, they only had one game. They only had Red Dead.
One game.
Yeah, that's it. You can't say GTA 5. That came out last generation. So my prediction is not that crazy if you think about it.
Yo, man, you crazy.
I like you, man, but you're crazy.
You know what? I'm gonna go with the Rockstar.
You think so too? You think they're gonna decline?
I think they're gonna go with the decline. I mean, I was gonna say 2K, but 2K's kind of got the they got the sports games, kind of keeping them alive right now.
Yeah. I have an answer. By the way, I don't really believe this, but I'm just gonna say it because it's just funny.
Uh-oh, you're gonna make everybody mad.
Yeah, I am.
Uh-oh.
And remember, I'm just gonna give you a clue. This is a company I said I will not make any more predictions on because I was horribly wrong about them generation.
Oh
no!
I think Nintendo's gonna have a decline next generation, son.
You think they are?
Brett's gonna take out the Switchblade again.
Yes, it is coming. No, he's not. No. He's taking out the sword right now. He's bringing out the katana right now.
No, man. I respect Nintendo. I ain't drank the Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
Y'all think that I do, but I just appreciate what they've done. Like they're prone to fucking up. So.
Yeah, you know what? Fuck.
But I will say this: they have enough big name franchise titles coming down the tube next year. It's going to be hard for them to fail.
Yeah, whatever their next gen system may be,
when they actually start making new games as opposed to just remaking the old ones.
Are we talking about the generation after the Switch, or are we talking about the time frame of the current generation switchovers?
Shit. By the way, remember, Brett, this question tripped us up last time because Nintendo.
I know. That's what I'm saying. In what context are we talking?
Shit.
Here?
I didn't think about that.
Can we just go with the context that whatever the time frame of the PlayStation 4, Xbox, or PlayStation 5, Xbox,
but that also means the Switch is still going to be in play, and I think the Switch is still going to continue being a success. So, but then I just threw that in there because I thought it was funny. I actually don't know. No, you know what? The next gen, it's again. I can't really talk about Nintendo anymore because I was proven dead fucking wrong about the Switch. And for you guys who don't know, I predicted that shit would have failed miserably. I said it's going to sell 4 million lifetime. It sold 10 times that already. So I like basically at the end heart of it, I do not understand the Nintendo fan base at all, man.
Well, we could not have predicted that they were going to partner up with all these third parties.
Brett, I'll give you credit all day, every day, son.
No. He predicted that they were going to do well with their first party stuff. We were talking about third party support because they usually don't like to go hard with. So this was huge. Think about it. We have about 30, 40 games every week on the Switch. It's fucking crazy. Nobody could have predicted.
You know what, Adam? I'm glad you said it because you're right. The Switch is really successful because of third parties. Ain't that about a bitch?
Yeah, that's what's bringing it to life.
Yeah, Brett, even you didn't predict that.
No. It's like all of a sudden Nintendo was like, oh, this is what we've been doing wrong.
Yeah.
After like 20 years, you guys just suddenly like, oh, wait a minute.
Yeah. By the way, in all seriousness, I don't think Nintendo's gonna have a decline, but I just wanted to throw it because it's just funny to say, But to be fair though, Brett,
says,
man, remember what happened last time? Those Nintendo guys came after my neck, bro.
Oh god.
But at
And
the
you
yeah.
might have a case if you're talking about what happens after the Switch.
after yeah, again, because if we're talking about within the time frame, I think Nintendo's gonna be fine with their next system. And as Brett pointed out, Nintendo has a history of fucking up. So my prediction may not be that crazy. Depending on which generation we're talking about. We're talking about everybody's generation or Nintendo's generation. Fucking crazy. Anyway, let's move on here to the next question, which I believe I already have ready here. Do I? Yes, I do. All right, so we got questions from Mr. Reaction Gift King, a.k.a. Goose, who's been joining us all night. By the way, I got to give a shout out to Goose, man, because, obviously you guys see the little graphics that are little chirons and stuff. He actually went out of his way to give me the shortened version of his question, which is pretty cool. Yeah, because I'm always the one shortening. By the way, I'm not asking you guys to do that. If you want to, go ahead, but it's kind of cool that he went out of his way to do that for me, so I didn't have to really do anything. I just copy and pasted it. It's fantastic,
Good stuff.
Thank you for that, man. And I'm glad you guys are digging the graphics up there. It's fucking amazing. All right, so his question is the first question: which third-party publisher has contributed the most to the industry this generation? Think EA/Activision/Ubisoft, but also think of other publishers like 2K and Bethesda. Bethesda, for example, gave us the horrible Fallout 76, but it has been a leader in getting ports on Switch. I'm looking at you, EA, and published critical hits like the Wolfenstein games, The Evil Within, Prey. So yeah, the question basically, which third-party publisher has contributed the most to the industry this generation? Great fucking question, man.
Ubisoft.
And the keyword publisher, not developer.
Publisher, yes, publisher.
Mm-hmm.
Adam, you can make a case for Ubisoft. So go ahead. What do you think
they giving it off because of Assassin's Creed? They went and they took some time off and they said, "All right, we're going to come back stronger." They had Origins, Odyssey. I was killing it. Division, that is a new IP of this generation. The first one killing it, second one trying to kill it. We had Broke Point. Let's just skip over that. And
but Adam, I'm going to stop you. Yes, Broke Point was shitty, but Wildlands blew the fuck up.
Wildlands, exactly. Wildlands also a new IP from this generation, and killed it too. So
but your first point was literally that they didn't release a game.
What do you mean they did release a game?
No, your first point was like they took time off from Assassin's Creed.
Assassin's Creed, they took time off from that last gen for this gen, and they came out with some two good ones.
By the way, this is how crazy it was that is actually a good point. You know what I'm saying? Like Brett, people gave them props for taking a year off.
That's what I'm saying. Like, how does a company get brownie points for not releasing a game?
Because because the games were starting to get stale and they needed to really work on them.
No, but I'm glad he asked that question because it is silly. It's like, wait, but it's true though. They did get brownie points for that, and deservedly so, because when they took a year off, the next Assassin's Creed games were fucking great.
Maybe the lesson learned here is maybe you don't start hashing out like trying to hash out a franchise game every year.
No, I absolutely agree with that, and I don't disagree with Adam. I just wanted to point out the ridiculousness of the first point and the fact that it is a valid point. I'm not arguing that it's an invalid point. I'm just arguing that it's silly.
Yeah, it's silly that it's a valid point, but a valid point regardless. Rainbow Six that blew up. Yeah,
a lot of people still play that, and they had a soft launch. It's just nobody really gives a shit, but it took time. Now it's making all this money. It's like on season 15 is some ridiculousness. Everybody's playing this shit.
Season 15, Rainbow Six.
Oh, I don't like my answer.
Uh-oh.
What's the answer?
Because
I know what it is.
It's actually the same answer I gave for the last question, but I have to give credit where credit's due, man. Nintendo did really well this generation for the industry. Like, we've shown that you can have a system that is both portable and you can play at your home,
But it's a third party.
Oh, but they're a publisher. Third party. You're right. I Brett, thank you for making, because it tasted bile, man, in my fucking mouth saying that. Disgusting. All right, third party.
All right, I have an interesting answer.
Ooh, I'll go for it, bro.
I think. It's I think the publisher who most negatively affected the industry this generation was EA. I mean, with the greed of EA almost caused the Federal Trade Commission to start regulating the game industry. That's how bad the loot boxes got. Battlefront 2, Star Wars, was almost a tipping point where we would have lost the industry as we know it, and that's how bad it got. they did not stop with the greed. As a matter of fact, what was their defense? They called it something. What was a
Oh,
surprise
surprise!
mechanics or something?
Surprise
Oh,
mechanics.
Yeah, surprise
Like they
mechanics.
they
It'll give
they
you a
literally
sense of
tried to defend
pride
that
for
shit.
a sense of pride and accomplishment.
There's
Yeah.
no accomplishment.
Remember
It's a
that?
fucking
Ridiculous.
surprise.
That is one of the most ridiculous statement quotes ever made.
They
Yeah,
stole
so-
that from someone at a casino in Vegas. That's what they got.
Yeah, it was it's gambling. Let's
Mhm.
be real. And it got banned. It caused other countries to regulate that shit. Like Finland banned like loot boxes and all this other shit had to happen. Other countries' regulations were created. So they almost caused the industry to have this major shift in a direction that we did not want it to go. This is why we have the ESRB and stuff. So the government does not get involved. And then all of a sudden we have video games being sold out of like liquor store type scenarios where you have to go in a fucking cage to get a video game, you know, like you're buying
I
porn.
remember pinball machines were considered gambling, and for a long time, the only way that you could play it was in bars.
Right? You know, you don't want that shit, and they almost caused that shit to happen. So, I'd say they get that credit, but in the reverse, they did not have a positive effect on the industry this generation. It's very negative.
Yeah, very detrimental for sure. But what about the positive though? It's a tough question because outside of Ubisoft, I can't really think of anything. And the reason Ubisoft we're talking about them is because just how successful they've been. I don't really know if it's been a positive or contributed most. You know what I'm saying? But money wise, I guess I don't know. It's a tough question.
Yeah, it's a tough question.
Well, there's a lot of third party publishers this gen that have been doing really good. Sega is one of them.
You know what? Devolver Digital, man, they're third party, right? I can say it. Yeah, you know what? Yeah. Just because they make gaming fun, just the way they put their shit out there, and plus a lot of their titles, are really, really cool. That's my answer. Devolver Digital, man. I like them.
I thought you were gonna say Sega because they brought back Sonic.
Sega has definitely done a lot of good stuff, but I think because I'm talking about like contributed to the industry, I think Devolver definitely has contributed to the industry. Just by injecting fun in there. Like it's like every time you see their presentation at E3, you know it's gonna be good. You know it's gonna be good. And they're putting a lot of cool indie games out there and stuff. And for us journalists, they give us free beer, and a place to rest during E3. Capcom, I'm not gonna say they contributed the most, but they definitely
also
done
did
very well.
their My Friend Pedro.
Yeah.
They were the publisher for that too.
Oh yeah, Devolver Digital has their hands on everything.
Well, it was that game, Brett, Absolver.
Absolver,
right?
that's them.
Yeah.
Yep, that's them. Yeah, Devolver Digital's definitely contributed a lot this generation. Yeah. They've been great.
Devolver put out Absolver?
Yeah.
Yeah, they did.
Oh, cool. Fucking awesome.
And that game that Brian likes.
Just one more reason to like
Warframe.
Yeah.
No, not Warframe. The one with the ape. Where you punch like you're like fighting your way out of a zoo or something.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, they put out that game. They put a lot of fun.
Yeah,
games.
so that's my answer.
They
I feel
also put out
very
the-
confident in my answer. I like that Devolver, man.
They also put out put out that game by From Software, Metal Wolf Knight, the fucking crazy mech game where the president of the United States is
it's like a mech pilot
around. Yeah.
Yeah, they also have Mech Warrior 5. They put that out. Like they got a lot of shit. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of games. So yeah, that's
Game
mine.
that Adam would never play.
Yeah.
Which one?
Mech Warrior 5.
Yo, that game's almost. Listen, just to be fair, that game's almost impossible to play, man.
Yeah, it's got the controls are really.
Yo, I can't hang, man.
It takes an acquired taste for those fucking controls.
All right,
Now,
go ahead, Brett.
Who asked this question?
This is Goose. He asked this
Okay,
question.
I thought so. I was going to say Capcom because they brought us Monster Hunter.
Yes, they did. That's a good one.
But his argument changed my mind.
Okay.
Who Tony's
I got to give him credit. No, Goose's. He brought up enough good points. Like he's right.
Wait. He just asked the question though. What did he say?
Oh, he's talking about the chat. He's talking about.
Okay.
Yeah. He said it was Bethesda. He gave an example.
Yeah, he did. Say
And
Bethesda.
he brought up a lot of really good points. And the more I sit there and the more I think about it, I'm like, motherfucker. I mean, they do get a lot of hate for what they did, but they brought Doom to the Switch. They kind of opened the doors for more mainstream mature content on the Switch, and I know it was kind of there.
Isn't Wolfenstein on the Switch too?
Yeah, it is.
Yes,
And like they pushed to get third party on the Switch, like big name titles. They were one of the first companies. to jump in on that. I remember being actually really excited when they announced that they've released some pretty cool smaller games. They help give a leg up to some smaller indie games and publish them. Like, you know, they caught a lot of slack for putting cotton in a helmet and giving. Still with the Fallout 76, I still maintain to this day, like, I'm sorry they gave you exactly what the fuck you asked for, and you were somehow expecting something else. But you know, as far as I'm concerned, they've been pretty good to me as a consumer. The thing was kind of broken as hell for a lot of people. But
also,
even yes.
Don't forget, they also released Skyrim on the Switch, which you betted on that it'll be top 10 on the MPDs, but you lost the bet.
I did.
So it gave me that satisfaction too.
Again, you guys know how I feel about Bethesda, so Brett, it hurts me to agree with you. They have contributed very well this generation just because of the fact they got so many of those games running on Switch. And, you know, even though those games aren't running as good as they do on PC, they run good enough for people who want to play them on the go. Not my ideal way of playing those games, but I'm trying to be fair here, you know?
Yeah, I'm trying. And we're trying to answer, like, who's made, like, kind of an impact on the who made an impact this generation, and they've done good and bad, but they actually really worked to change the industry, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah. Damn. Yeah, I have to agree. That's one of them. It pains me to say that, but I got to be fair here, you know? Oh, man.
I mean, I would say...
Uh-oh. Kojima?
No. Epic Games.
Oh, shit! That's a good answer.
We're
doing what?
Yeah.
Oh, Brett, you're not gonna like where Manny's going with this. I know where he's going.
Then they in this year, I mean, granted they didn't publish a lot of these games, but am I on?
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're just listening.
But their engine, Unreal Engine, is literally the most used game engine, and it's advancing every single second. I mean, to the point where they're literally using it in the fucking Mandalorian. All the backgrounds that you see in that that show are all created in Unreal Engine. Those guys are fucking insane.
That's a good point,
Manny. But I have to throw something. This is where I thought you were going to go with it. You know, but take everything he just said and add. And Brett, you're not going to like this, man. The fact that. Go ahead, Carlos. You say it. I think I know what you're gonna say, but go ahead.
The fact that Fortnite has become the biggest fucking game in the world.
Oh God.
Yep. There's
by the way, that was
is that really adding anything to the industry? Though?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, here's
they gave them money to open up their own store.
By the way, this is one of these things I hate about being a journalist when I have to be fair to shit. You know, I don't like Fortnite. You guys know how I feel about Fortnite. I think those fucking games are trash. But that has brought in more people into gaming, which is a good thing. Now, granted, you know, by the way, that wasn't my answer. That wasn't what I was going to say. Brett, you're going to be mad.
There's more Epic things. See what I mean?
The Epic Game Store is finally giving Steam something to worry about.
They give you free games.
Because Steam has had like a fucking authority on, you know, PC gaming for years, right? Epic Game Store comes around, finally somebody's giving them a competition, and I think that's a good thing, you know. So I think, but Epic, you with their engine, with Fortnite, you know, and with the Epic Game Store, they've contributed to the industry. Whether you like those contributions or not, that's a different story. But they've contributed, you know.
I don't know if poisoning the well is adding to it, but that's good.
We don't need to go. By the way, you could check out those past episodes to hear Brett's full thoughts on this subject. Who didn't go yet? Well, while Manny's over there playing with his toys.
I'll say Sega.
Sega, okay. What's your haste for them?
They brought back Sonic and made it good again. The 2D Sonic.
I'm gonna challenge you on that.
Excuse me?
A fan made that shit, and they decided to reboot it and slap their name on it because it was already a critical success.
They killed it like Nintendo. Nintendo killed all kinds of
I'm not. They come out neutral on that, right? Like they get negative points for fucking biting on the hard work of this dude and pretty much riding the success. by holding a trademark.
Oh, to be fair, Sega
But
hired this guy. They hired him to make the game.
And that's why, and that's the other side. So like, yeah, it's a neutral thing. Like, I'm not giving. It's not Sega's accomplishment to announce. It's this guy's. It's I forget the name of his.
Christian Whitehead. Christian Whitehead.
Yeah, Christian Whitehead. It's his accomplishment. That's not Sega's.
All right.
All Sega did was buy something that was clearly going to be successful.
By the way, Carlos, you still have other Sega games to make your case.
On Christian Whitehead, one thing he actually did make two Sonic, Sonic 3, and then he also made Sonic CD. Like, in other words, he essentially got them to work on the new consoles, essentially remaking those games.
Yeah, those two games, Sonic CD was the first one I believe he worked on. He, pretty much brought it up to HE standards. He did it just because he wanted to, just because he loved that game so much. Sega took notice and then hired him eventually, But anyway, Carlos, continue, because, again, Sega has other games besides Sonic that I'm pretty sure you want to say help them contribute this generation.
Yeah, they also are the publishers for one of my favorite, probably top 3 favorite games of the generation, Persona 5.
My name's Mayo.
Wait, what?
No, he's
fucking. That was my game. My bad.
That's the game that changed the generation for you, Adam.
Damn right. What? I could get a platinum by pressing one button? Are you kidding me?
Fucking disgraceful platinum, man. Anyway, Carlos, go ahead, man.
They also they're doing, they're splurging everybody with fucking Yakuza games.
Yeah, right.
There's like we're not only gonna release Yakuza 0, we're gonna do Kiwami 1 or Kiwami 2. Kiwami 2, remaster the rest of the library, and then do fucking Yakuza 7, which is gonna be a turn-based game. And it's already out in fucking Japan. I don't know what the hell is. Why is it coming out here, man?
It's always like that.
There's so much Yakuza so fast. Like you don't want to get genre burnout.
But you know what it is?
Really
yeah, I know, because Brett, they were basically playing catch up, releasing all those games in America.
No, I know, but they'll saturate their own market if they release too quickly.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, but thankfully now things are going to slow down since they release all the past Yakuzas. Now they're on track. But I agree with you. But people keep buying them, so I guess they're doing something right. Yeah. But they've already run out of Yakuza games, so they can't be flooding next generation.
They're just going to remake them all again.
Yeah. Also, just a minor thing, because a lot of people have been asking for this game forever. Phantasy Star 2 Online. Yeah, like they brought that back. People are happy as fuck. Like
Sega's good people.
Yeah, Sega's
fucking
good.
Shenmue 3.
Thank you.
They didn't release that. They didn't release it. That's not them.
Oh, they didn't.
They
didn't even publish it.
No, they didn't publish it.
No, they didn't.
Oh, okay.
Oh, fuck Sega.
No, damn.
Not just joking.
They did re-release the original Shenmue.
What about Panzer Dragoon?
I believe that is them, right? Ruse and the new one.
That's them.
But that isn't out yet, so that don't count yet.
And you can't count Streets of Rage 3.
The 4, yeah, you can't count that.
I can't wait. That's coming.
Wait, isn't that going to be this? Aren't those things going to be this generation though?
It is, yeah, but I don't think Sega's publishing Streets of Rage 4. Manny, they're not doing it, right?
No, they should be. Yeah, it is.
No, they're not developing it.
Yeah, they're not developing
it. But they're publishing.
Are they publishing it though?
I would assume. Isn't Streets of Rage a Sega thing?
It is, yeah. I gotta look this up. Go ahead.
Shenmue's a unique situation.
Because they probably didn't own the property.
No, they do own the property. They do get credited within the game for the thing.
Yeah,
but it's a unique situation with them and Yu Suzuki on.
By the way, Sega has nothing to do with Streets of Rage 4. I'm looking it up now.
What? Let me I'm gonna rescind my answer. Then.
The publisher is called Dotemu, and they're also one of the developers, along with Lizard Cube and Guard Crush Games.
Dotemu, who the hell is this?
Those guys.
That.
Yeah,
they own the property though. Why aren't they publishing it?
I don't. Who the fuck knows, man?
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, that is odd for sure.
Is Dotemu part of Sega or something?
No, they're not. They're their own thing. Dotemu is an independent company.
Well, no, they're an independent developer.
They are, but they're not under Sega. That's my point.
They might do the same thing like the Dragon King game, where it's like they'll say in association with Sega. Maybe.
They're French. It's a French company.
Oh, the French.
Where's Brian?
Yeah, right.
Where's Brian when we need him, man?
No, I could hate on the French, man. I could do that. Fuck 'em.
Yo, man, we just went to fucking.
No, that's in
New
America. Fuck
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, right. All right.
Yeah, so I guess I don't know. It's going to Capcom for the obvious reasons. Never mind.
All right, fair enough.
I'm rescinding
Yeah, that's fair.
my Sega.
Yeah, Capcom. Capcom did good this generation.
I want to point out, like, almost everybody's answer was medium to small publishers.
Yeah. Oh, except for Adams, Ubisoft. He said,
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, and I said EA.
and he said EA. Well,
did you say
no? Chris said in the reverse though. They had a negative
and
impact.
a negative impact.
Yeah. It was EA was the worst.
But you know what, Chris? But if we twist things a little bit, your answer is still viable because they did contribute to the industry, but in a negative way.
Yeah,
you
in
know?
a bad way.
Yeah. So yeah, that
Oh,
counts.
okay.
That counts. All right, let's move on here. All right, next up from Mr. Goose.
Notice we didn't say them.
Yeah, no, we didn't, did we? Since the GameCube, Nintendo has generally put out less powerful hardware in relation to its competitors. Does Nintendo get a quote-unquote pass from the industry and gamers alike for not competing on the specs front? Chris, you answer this one first, man.
Well, I've always said they get a pass for that, but I mean they've always gone for more budget hardware because they build around their experience in the games. Like their strength is in the software. It's not in the hardware. Like they haven't led the pack in hardware since like Super Nintendo. You know?
Yeah,
like
I agree.
N64 was unique, but like it was weird, like the Silicon graphics engine they use and whatnot. And then, you know, it's because of them that Sony entered the market and PlayStation kind of destroyed them in the beginning.
Yeah.
So and then they've been playing catch up ever since. But like they jumped the gap with the Switch because at least they went with Nvidia and the Tegra hardware. Because think about it, for 3 systems you had the same hardware. The GameCube, the Wii, and the Wii U are essentially the same machine inside. Nobody realizes this. It's all power PC stuff, and it's actually one of the lower end power PC chips that they used to develop all 3 machines. It's just clocked higher, and each system had a little more memory. That's all it is. So they've lagged behind hardware like consistently, but yeah, they get a pass. Look at the Wii. Look how successful it was. I mean, it's essentially a GameCube with motion controls. You know,
Yeah.
and that made the difference.
Yeah. By the way, just so you know, in case we start going on down the rabbit hole, we're talking specifically about hardware now because we've always talked about how Nintendo gets a pass in games. You know, but yeah, I agree with Chris. They definitely get a pass when it comes to hardware. Oh, by the way, just to be fair, the GameCube was actually a pretty good console hardware wise. It was more powerful than the PlayStation 2. But yeah, after that they decided, fuck it, we don't care. The Wii U, what was the Wii? It was just a beefed up GameCube, and then you know the Wii U was the Wii U, and then the Switch. Even though the Switch is obviously successful and all that, it is still very weak. But they get a pass. But in their case, they're at least putting out games. So you know what I'm saying? Like they're putting out games that people want to play on the weaker consoles. So you got to give them credit for that too. You know, they're putting out more fucking first party exclusives than Microsoft. You know.
Well, we know Nintendo can build the hell out of a system. I mean, yes, you can judge it by spec standards, and the 2 very specific and reaching examples would be like, man, the GameCube and the Game Boy. Those things are fucking indestructible. You could hit them with a train and they're going to keep going. And that's a different metric to judge success by. Like Nintendo has always built highly durable machines. Their systems don't really break.
Yeah, but I think we're talking about the heart. We're talking about the insides, you know, not the protective shell. You know what I'm saying?
That's part of the hardware. It's not just the guts. We're talking about the actual system itself.
Yeah, that's not true anymore. I mean, if you drop the Switch the right way, those Joy-Con rails will pop right off. Like,
100%. I think I've kind of come to the conclusion that I think they're designed like that. Rather fuck up your Joy-Cons than your system.
Yeah, I mean the actual system will work. Your Joy-Cons won't.
Yeah, right.
Oh yeah, no, your Joy-Cons will die. Like they just absorb it, the brunt of the shock, and you're like, okay, buy new Joy-Cons, but at least your system's okay. They dropped that. They dropped the Switch off a fucking crane. It destroyed the Joy-Con. System was fine. So like Nintendo is pretty good at building durable things, but here's the thing: it's tough to judge, horsepower and basically what's under the hood because they haven't tried to compete. That's been literally their point of the Blue Ocean strategy. They have gone out of their way to make something less powerful. And that may seem weird to people, but they're trying to break out of being in direct head-to-head competition.
A question. So, with that said, do you think they get a pass just because of the fact that they are not trying to compete?
I don't know if it's a pass the same way like you don't compare your microwave to your oven. It's not the same thing. Yeah. They do the same thing, but it's not the same thing. It's literally, I can say comparing apples and oranges, and that's probably the best example because it's literally two different things. They've brought them far enough apart that yes, you get a pass. The same way your microwave gets a pass for not being an oven.
Yeah.
Because it's a microwave. It's not an oven.
But that's the exact point I'm trying to make here. It's like, since it's so radically different from what everybody else is doing, it seems like they get a pass, even though you know what I'm saying? No, Brett, I'm agreeing with your point. It's the framing. The phrase is getting fucked up, but I agree with what you're saying. It's like you can't compare a Switch and a PlayStation 4 because they're not the same fucking thing,
But here's where we're disagreeing. You say that they get a pass.
No. I'm saying this is why people say that. I'm not saying that. Understand?
Okay.
In this context. And
I'm going to challenge the way that you're using the language. I realize we fundamentally agree, but let me ask you this: does your microwave get a pass?
Based on what?
Just for not being an oven.
See again.
So for cooking food, does it get a pass when it cooks food? Because a microwave doesn't cook food as good as an oven. So every time you microwave a burrito, are you just giving the microwave a pass on the food not being as good?
No. In the context of this question, yes, it does get a pass in the context of this question. But obviously, but in the real world, obviously, you're not going to compare a microwave to a fucking oven. It's two different things,
Yeah, I think the more apt comparison is like, look at the Switch as like, if you look at them as tools, then the Switch is a hammer, and then the PlayStation's an auto driver. And then it's like one is doing the job faster. They both do the same job. They both drive nails into the wall.
I think the sticking point here is the word pass. Maybe we should use something else.
Well, we're using it different ways. Like, so I'm saying, no, it's not that Nintendo gets a pass, because a bunch of people are like, oh, Nintendo just gets a pass for being a weaker system. No, it doesn't get a pass. It would get a pass if it were in the same weight class. It would get a pass if it were directly competing, and then people were kind of giving it a little bit of a boost. It doesn't get a pass. Like, the person who's a featherweight boxer does not get a pass for throwing a lighter punch than a heavyweight boxer, because they're two different things, and that's to be expected. The term "getting a pass" implies that it's implied derogatory.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. But the thing is, if you're an asshole, you could say, "Oh, the featherweight guy."
You could say that about a lot. That you could say, but you could say that about a. You could say that about the feather. You could say that about the oven. You could say that about the hammer. But people would look at you like you're a fucking moron.
Oh yeah.
It's only in video games that people, for some reason, be like, "Well, they both play video games, so does one get a pass?" Like, it's not the same thing, man. It's not that. So no, it doesn't. It's not that it gets a pass. No, it doesn't get a pass. Nobody's comparing them. If you compare one to the other, like, you could say it gets a pass for not being the same thing, but at that point, you've just rendered your own argument invalid.
Yeah. No, but you're right. That with games, we do hear that a lot. Like, for example, a mobile game will, quote-unquote, get a pass compared to a console game just because of the fact that it's on mobile, even though that's a different medium. You know what I'm saying? But you're right. In video games, it does seem to kind of be more valid. As weird as that sounds,
It does feel more valid, but I don't think it should be, because I think it muddies the waters. We as an audience should be very clear of what we expect and what we consider good, what we consider bad. I think when we say things like that, we just muddy the waters and end up all arguing against each other,
even though we're fundamentally agreeing on the same shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
like, I don't know, like, even down to, like, man, why you gotta who the fuck gives a shit if somebody quote unquote gets a pass? Like, why are we even arguing this? And I'm not trying to like piss on the person that asked this question. I just mean that, like, why do you even have to approach it with such a negative concept? I guess
Maybe he doesn't like Nintendo. By the way, who said that? Pac Dan. He says, I think the question is derogatory towards Nintendo. I'm not sure though. Some of these questions phrasing result in confusing discussions.
Yeah, and that's exactly how I feel. Like the very question itself is derogatory in nature. You only ask that question if you're viewing Nintendo as being a shortcoming by classifying them as the same thing. So by the time you ask this question, you're already looking at it from the wrong light. And again, I'm not trying to piss on the person that asked this question, but it's a self-defeating question. The more and more you think about it, the more and more you keep coming to the same conclusion that, sure, this gets a pass for not being milk, I guess, because it's pretty good lemonade. It's not milk, but like it's what like
bean.
Brett, for the people listening for the people listening at home, what are you holding up right now?
I'm holding a Snapple watermelon iced tea.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's delicious, but is it milk? No. And when I got this out of the fridge, I know I wanted the watermelon lemonade. It's not iced tea, it's lemonade. My bad. The watermelon lemonade. But now I just kind of wish it were milk, even though I didn't buy milk. I didn't get milk out of the fridge. I feel like milk would be more refreshing, and I feel like maybe they should have known that. Like it's just such a weird concept. Like, just let Switch be its own thing. Don't lord the fact that your system is more powerful over. Like, yes, like do you fucking walk up on like just alpha dog on squirrels in your yard? Like, I'm bigger than you. I could kick the shit out of you. Like so yes, you're a person. It's a squirrel. You guys are two different things. You drive a car. It eats nuts. It's
Oh, but by the way, Brett, in all capitals, Dan says to you, "Bruh, give me that Snapple. I love Snapple."
my man.
Oh man! All right. By the way, I will still maintain that Nintendo gets a pass when it comes to games, though. But we've discussed that in the past. Cha-ching, man! Fuck that shit.
That's a different thing.
That's a different thing. All right. Moving on here, Mr. GZDR Forever. So his first question is: now that Sonic has made the most money in one day for a video game movie, what other cartoony characters like Sonic would translate well into a live action movie?
People would have said
Mario.
They would have said that.
Ratchet. People would have said Ratchet and Clank, but
that movie sucks.
That movie
they did.
Bizarmed, you know.
Funny how the game did really well, but the movie didn't.
Yeah. Hey, fucking Bubsy, why not, man?
Not Bubsy.
Clonoa, you know. I'm bringing up some bullshit. Toe Jam and Earl.
Clonoa, I can get
that.
Yeah.
You know, I can't believe I'm saying this because it'd be great or it'd be terrible, depending on what kind of plot you wrote in to fill it up. But like the concept behind Jet Grind Radio could make for a dope movie.
Yeah, we're talking about cartoony mascot characters, though.
Right, but yeah, you'd make those with all actors. You can make those with all.
Yeah, you could do that with actors. Yeah.
No, you could do it like Into the Spider-Verse.
Well, then it'd be all animated.
That, so he
yeah, you motherfuckers are never looking.
We're talking about animated. Right?
Yeah, we are. Yeah, we are.
We're talking about like a mixture, like Sonic.
Yeah, he's specifically talking about mascot characters like Sonic or Mario or shit like that.
Oh, okay, my bad. I misunderstood.
Oh, I guess I made an error in saying what I was too.
All right.
Yeah, none. Then you've used Sonic. The rest of them are kind of garbage.
Oh shit! What about if they made like a CG Mario movie?
Well, they are. Illumination's making it.
Oh, okay. So there you go.
Well,
Yeah,
wait a minute. It's not. But the thing is that are we talking about a half and half movie?
No, that's a full CG movie.
But
I'm
saying.
Yeah, no. We're talking about a half and half movie. What?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Let's go.
What mascot should they make?
Yeah, let's go for half and half. Yeah.
And
none.
I don't have a good answer. Yeah, I don't have a good answer.
I don't like the fact that they made the two half and half movies that they have.
Yeah,
I don't have anything against Detective Pikachu. I haven't seen it. I've heard it's good, and I have nothing against the Sonic movie. I'll probably see it. But like, I don't need more of those made. Like, as a fan of somebody who like Who Framed Roger Rabbit, like that's cool. But I don't need cute mascot movies in the cute mascot in the real world is not a
And
premise for
we're
a
only
good
talking
movie.
about major mascots, right? Or
Yeah, we're talking about. I mean, we could. By the way, we've
I'm
seen these
pretty
kind
sure we're
of.
talking about any mascot.
Yeah. By the way, we've seen this before with movies. They're not video games, but Alvin and Chipmunks, Garfield. Like we've seen that type of shit before.
Yes.
It's like
Fucking Who Framed Roger Rabbit, kind of.
Yeah.
Who Framed Roger Rabbit is like the only good one that came out.
Yeah,
of that
I
bunch.
agree. That
Yeah, that
movie's
was a
fucking
good one.
amazing. Yeah.
And that's because the plot really centered on the division between animated beings and humans. Like,
Yeah.
that was part of the plot.
What up, humans?
Yeah. Not just like, oh my god, I ended up in the real world. It wasn't that.
Yeah,
Which is
like-
pretty much the
Space,
plot for
Space Jam is another good one.
Oh god.
Everybody get up.
Wait,
And,
I
really?
don't know about that.
I don't know about Best Space Jam, bro.
I don't know if I'd say
man.
it's...
Take that back. Take that back.
Yo,
Yeah.
man.
You're outvoted on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I override
Hey,
all
it's,
of it, man.
hey, no. I like some bad movies too. It's okay.
By the way, does Cool World count?
Hey, but Brett, why are you trying
Double
to piss off
Dragon
Koreans?
for life.
No. I mean that in the nicest way. Like, there are some movies that like I know are bad movies, and I'm like, I still fucking love this movie. Tank Girl is a bad movie, but it is one of
Yes,
my
it is.
favorite movies of all time.
Yeah.
So I ain't talking shit.
all
I'm
right,
just
I
saying
know.
it's not good.
This is a chance. All right, bring back Knights, the character from Knights.
That would be interesting.
It could make an interesting kids movie.
Yeah,
That
for
one.
sure.
Fly around lazily for complete.
Yeah.
It can be in your dreams. It could be like one of those. It could be one of those half and half movies where like half of it's in real life and half of it's in the dream realm.
In the dream realm.
Well, dude, like even the
and then you can have kids sing really, really bad.
like even if you did like a cool mascot, like fuck it, let's take Link. Do you want to see a movie where Link somehow in the real world?
Oh my God,
No.
Brett! Here's the thing: Blink is in the real world, but he's still CG, even though he's a human.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, that's what it would be. Like, why are you unless you did like a fourth wall breaking, mature audience, like weird ass, super violent thing. I don't think that would work.
Nah,
Yeah.
Brett, I don't think
He'll
that
come
would
in-
work because
He'll come in and be like, "Excuse me."
Well, excuse me,
Yeah.
princess.
Oh my god.
No, like they did a great show, and I forget what it was. Son of Ragnar, like that. And the basic premise was it was like a animated Conan the Barbarian guy, and he was still animated, but he was in the real world, and he had tried to button up, and he's now working an office job because he had married a woman and had a kid, like a real life woman, and had a kid, and she got really sick of his adventuring ways, just murdering thing. So he got a button down office job like that. It wasn't bad.
Wasn't that also in The Incredibles? Wasn't that the whole thing with The Incredibles? It's like stop being a superhero and he was a.
No,
Yeah.
they were forced to in Incredibles. They were forced to stop being superheroes by the government.
Yeah, but
So he had to
he was still animated while everybody, like the wife and the kid, were like actor portrayed. So it was basically like he actually retired from Saturday morning cartoons, and people were like, "Hey, how goes that slang? Did you ride your Hyper Dragon over?" He's like, "No, I have Kia now." Like that kind of shit. Like it was amusing, but I can't think of anything other than Roger Rabbit that did a good job with the scenario we're talking about.
Yeah, the melding and shit. I agree with that. So is our answer just like don't make any more? Because I'm happy going with
Yeah,
that
quite
answer.
well you had.
That's,
Yeah.
yeah, that's where I'm at.
No, there's
You can
plenty
make
of
a
those.
you can make a really good Yoshi movie,
Yeah,
man.
actually, you know what?
Make a good Bonk one. Bring Bonk.
It's like a Super Mario World.
Bonk's Adventure.
Yeah, I'm trying to get my Chivos and Bonk right now. That's why. It's like, oh damn, this guy with the big head. This shit.
Yeah, but do you want to see like a
Mario World 2 movie?
Yeah, but do you really want to see like a CG Bonk in the real world hitting his head on shit?
But just do it.
Oh, all right, man.
Just do it.
Just do it. Just do it.
Just do it.
Yeah. All right, man. Next question. But GZR is trying to get us in trouble with this shit, man. I swear. So just answer carefully, I guess.
Tread carefully.
What video game soundtrack would you have on in the background while making love to your significant other?
Oh, everybody.
Oh, that one's easy.
All right. What's your answer?
The Final Fantasy victory music.
For me, it would be.
Not really. I
yeah,
have no idea.
yeah. But the only one I can think of is the main theme song from Persona 5. You never see it coming. You know.
I got a really bad joke.
Uh oh.
Final Fantasy 7 one. Like, you know how it's like
Brett just said that.
It's
Yeah, that's what I just said.
Brett literally just said that.
Yeah, I know, but it's a joke about what Brett's answer is.
What?
I don't even know if I should say it.
Oh,
Go, come on.
wait, can you say it?
All
Carlos.
right, no, I'll say it.
Okay,
I'll say it.
all right.
I can.
Okay.
It's like, you know how like the theme song is like, and I was gonna be like, that's a perfect theme music because that's how long you'll probably last.
Oh, that's
Yo.
Damn,
That's
holy
nice.
shit.
Damn.
Wow.
I got one more bad one I gotta throw. The Tetris music, because that's clearly the music that you listen to when fitting things into tight spaces.
So are you gonna be telling the chick this, explaining that to her while you're fucking her? Like, hey baby,
No,
listen
I
up.
don't have a real answer. I'm not gonna put on video game.
Yeah. By the way, my real answer is no fucking music. I want to hear the girl. You know, that's what gets me off.
My girlfriend, if anything would be playing, she'd just be like, "Turn that shit up." What the fuck? Is
Yeah. It's like no music. Yeah, stop that.
Real talk for some of you young bloods out there. You need to listen for the quiet noises to make sure you're doing things right.
You know, come on, man. Yeah, no music. That's
if
my
she's
answer.
looking at her phone while you're doing it, you're doing it wrong.
Doing it all wrong.
Or if she's if she's on fucking Tinder while you're on her,
Exactly.
then you're really doing something wrong.
It's like,
Even when it's done down there, I just
flip me
swipe
over. Like, flip me over so that way I can just lay down and type with my fingers.
Yeah, right.
Come on, let's do that.
Yo, I'll be done in 5 minutes. I'll see you soon.
Exactly. What they want me though, because this dude can't hang.
Yeah, right. So yeah, my answer: no music. Come on, man, get out of here with that shit. GZR, you're crazy, bro. All right, let us move on here to the next question. This is from Ronan, man. All right, so his first question is, I came across a few lore-centric videos on YouTube, so I started thinking about game franchises that have really convoluted stories. Between Kingdom Hearts, Assassin's Creed, Legacy of Kain, and BioShock, which lore is the most appealing to you? And which of these do you think is too complicated for its own good? So it's a little bit of a two-part question there.
So BioShock.
Oh, the examples he gives are Kingdom Hearts, Assassin's Creed, Legacy of Kain, BioShock, Metal Gear. I love Metal Gear Solid to death. That shit is convoluted as a motherfucker.
Yeah, I would go with that, and I'd also give you also raise you Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, Kingdom Hearts is another one. Yeah,
Hearts is
Kingdom Hearts-
convoluted.
It's overly convoluted for a game with Disney characters and Final Fantasy characters.
Yeah, dude, like they keep roping the knot in on itself. They're like, we're gonna double down and make this more confusing. And I only know this because as a person who doesn't play the games, every time somebody explains a new iteration to me, it gets exponentially more fucking confusing.
Yes,
Where I'm like, what? Wait, what is going on right now?
that's what we get when we get full Tetsuya Nomura. We get overly complicated stories like that.
yeah, Brett. I played Kingdom Hearts 3 from beginning to end because I had to review it. I went in there going, listen, I'm just gonna review this as a game. Don't ask me about the story because I don't know what the fuck's going on here. You know?
Yeah. I mean, I want to say
yeah.
BioShock had a really good lore, but the 3 was really hit and miss. Like, 3 lost me for most of the game and then finally grabbed me with the ending again. So, like, I don't give a shit about Columbia. Does anybody? Like, Rapture is dope, but who cares about Columbia?
I like Columbia.
I like Columbia, yeah, man.
Ugh.
I like BioShock Infinite, man.
Yeah, BioShock Infinite is really good.
Yeah.
in my
I
opinion.
like BioShock Infinite. I'm just not as
Alright.
interested in the world of Columbia like I was the world of Rapture.
Yeah, cause
Yeah, I agree with
Well,
that.
I mean, that's like, you know, I mean, you're just comparing like one of the best games of all time to something else, you know. So it's
To
always
its-
going to be hard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think where they went off the mark was
You guys gonna replay it on Switch when that happens?
no,
Hell no.
Okay.
fuck no.
It was already free on PlayStation 4. So
Yeah, but
why
it's
would you
just
need the
it's
Switch
portable because you're out in the world.
No, man, you can play that with your.
Can you
That's
play
not a
that on
portable type.
GeForce
That's-
now?
You can
That's
play
not
it
a portable
with your-
type game.
Yeah, that's not-
remember,
yeah.
It's,
Dude, I already don't know how I'm gonna play fucking Metroid portable. I'm like, dude, I'm gonna get too into this game to be able to stop every 20 minutes. What am I just gonna pause this shit and keep going?
Okay.
Put it in sleep mode.
Right. Chris, here's one, man. Castlevania. That's a convoluted fucking storyline.
Yeah, it it started getting convoluted, and then they tried to reset it with whatchamacallit, the one that Manny sold back.
Lords of Shadow.
Lords of Shadow. They started trying to redo it, and even that shit got convoluted. It only had 2 games.
Oh my god.
Oh, bullshit.
Trash games, man.
Yeah. So
Hey, Chris.
yeah, and Castlevania's crammed. Yeah.
Chris, where does Dark Souls fit in the spectrum?
Well, I'd say Dark Souls has very interesting lore. I don't think it gets convoluted. I think it's just hard to piece it all together because they really make you hunt for it. Like you have to read every item and talk to every NPC and and hunt down all this stuff, and then there's theories going on. But it's not like, where Kingdom Hearts is convoluted, like there's like multiple games, like you have to play the DS game to understand what this character's motivation is, and you have to do all the so that's like out of control. But with Dark Souls, I think it's a little more straightforward, except for 2. 2 is like weird. And Bloodborne's is a little straightforward. You have to get a little metaphysical with Bloodborne. There's like Lovecraft shit going on. But it's more interesting. Like you want to understand how this world works, and you hunt down all the lore. And I've watched videos and stuff. The same thing like Zelda. Zelda has very interesting lore. I don't think it's really convoluted. I just think there's a lot of it. you end up doing research to try to put it all together.
Another one that's convoluted is The Legend of Zelda, because all the timelines they have and shit. Like you need a chart to follow that. Because there's
I'm granting that one.
You know what I'm saying, bro? Like there's
the
2
same
different
fucking story all the time.
Yeah. But the thing is, like, there's like 2 different like timelines that
there's more. There's more.
No,
than
there's
2.
3.
There's 3. Oh, that's right. There's 3 now. Shit. Thank you, Breath of the Wild, man.
Yeah. And Breath of the Wild kind of unified all of them.
Actually, wait, was it Breath of the Wild that made the 3rd one?
No.
Breath of the Wild,
it united them.
NES Zelda made the 3rd timeline.
Oh,
that's
okay.
the ruined timeline.
Oh man. By the way, can we go through those? Chris, do you happen to know what you want to go through the timelines?
Yeah, there's the. So the way I understand it, everything's split off from Ocarina of Time.
Yeah.
So there's the child timeline with young Link living his life out, and that leads into, I think, Twilight Princess and that and.
Well, that's the success, right? Like you want to clarify. If you beat Ganondorf, you
and return as a child, yes.
Yeah, you return as a child and you grow up normally. That is timeline A.
Yeah, so then you have Majora's Mask and everything following that. And then there's the adult timeline that fractures when Link goes into the future and he fights and kills Ganon. That creates a separate timeline. And does that become Wind Waker?
Oh,
yes, I believe it does.
Yeah.
I got the list right here. So basically, the Legend of Zelda chronology, you have it's Skyward Sword, the Minish Cap, Four Swords, and Ocarina of Time. Ocarina of Time, here's where it deviates. You have the hero is defeated, that leads into Link to the Past. The hero is victorious. The hero is victorious branches off into 2 sections too.
The child timeline, the adult timeline.
Yeah, so the child timeline starts with Majora's Mask, and the adult timeline starts with the Wind Waker.
Yeah.
Crazy shit, man. And you're right, Chris. At the very end of them, not even connected. Breath of the Wild.
Right, because
it has a bit of everything in it.
Yeah, the Rito and the Zora shouldn't exist in the same world, because one evolved from the other.
Yeah,
and yet they're both there in Breath of the Wild.
All right, so there you go. So that's a pretty convoluted timeline too.
Now I want to know what happened after the Super Nintendo one.
The Super Nintendo one is a Link to the Past. It's called Link's Awake. Oh, wait, hold on. Was it Link to the Past the Super Nintendo one?
The Super Nintendo one, yeah.
Yeah, the next one is Link's Awakening. Brett, that game's actually on Switch right now, I believe. The remaster, or remake,
the remake.
Oh, is that the? That is
on Switch. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah,
that was the Game Boy game that was remastered.
Yes, that's a sequel. That's a sequel to Link to the Past, bro.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, so you may want to cop that.
Oh, dude, I remember the first half of that game from when I was a kid. I don't know what happened on the second half.
That's awesome.
I either didn't beat it or I forgot. The chances are it's 50-50.
Yeah. All right. Any other convoluted storylines in video games?
Dude, okay, come on, like, it's good, but Metal Gear Solid
I said
storyline-
that. That was the first thing I said. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I said I love Metal Gear, but that story is convoluted as fuck. You know.
Final Fantasy?
Final Fantasy, they're different. They're separate games. So I don't think those count. You know.
No. Individually, all of them are still fucking all over the.
Fair enough.
Fair enough. Six had a really clear story. 7, you're still like, what the fuck is a Genova? Like, what is it Esper? Like, I have no idea what's going on. There's a meteor coming at the planet. Is the planet's alive?
But, Brett, to be fair, Japanese JRPGs are convoluted as shit.
Yeah,
in general.
Square games in general, man. Look, Kingdom's Hearts, right?
Yeah, Kingdom Hearts, Xenogears.
I mean, just because it's relevant, Final Fantasy VII was definitely one of the worst of the bunch. I loved it, but half the time I had no idea what the fuck was going on.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm not gonna let this slip by.
Uh-oh.
I'm sorry. We just got a new one. We had Dragon's Age. Now we have Kingdom's Hearts.
Kingdom's Hearts. Oh shit! Hold on.
I'm adding that to the Throwdown database.
Dude, that's awesome.
By the way, Kristen says Resident Evil. Yeah, that got really convoluted after a while. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's the movies. The movies made no damn sense.
Well, we're not talking about the movies.
Well,
but
just in the games.
Yeah, we're talking about the games. The games got crazy. Yeah, thank you,
Especially
Chris.
Attack on.
Yeah.
Attack on
right
Revelations.
about that. Yeah,
Like that
shit.
Fucking
Yeah, it got crazy. Yeah, man.
It's like, you mean to tell me this, and this happened?
Excuse me. All right, man. And the last question of the night. This is an interesting one. What's a quote-unquote see also game that you enjoyed more than the more popular or well-known version of the game? He explains it now. So many of my friends loved the Tony Hawk games back in the PS1 era, while I put all of my hours into Grind Session. So he's talking about games that are similar to
Grind Session was.
Yeah. What happened, Adam?
Grind Session, that was a good game.
Yeah. So
they never went back to it, but it was in New York. They had a lot of good spots there.
Yeah, so basically, I guess these are games that are kind of similar to a more popular game that you enjoyed more than the actual popular game. Manny, you raise your hand.
I go first. Aggressive Endline, which was the rollerblader version of Tony Hawk Pro Skater. In fact,
but they never told.
Hey, that's his answer. That's his answer.
But no, it has to be like one within the same genre. They never
made
the
same genre.
They didn't. No, they never made an inline game. Nervosoft never made one. They made a BMX one.
It's still
same genre.
It's the same genre. It's the same genre.
No. Because if someone said, "Oh, I want to play the Tony Hawk version of that," where is it? It doesn't exist.
Adam, you're gonna hate me for this. Okay, do we all agree with Mania is the same genre, except for Adam?
How?
Yes. All right. Okay.
No, because if you want to play an inline game,
I watched Manny play that game. Same thing.
Adam,
that's not.
Yeah,
it's essentially Tony Hawk with rollerblades.
It's the same fucking genre, man.
Yeah, no, but it's not. There's no other rollerblade game.
There's no other rollerblade game because it's never
no, listen. They never had it. No, listen. He's talking about.
They bought that company.
No, listen. He's saying that while everybody's playing Tony Hawk, that skateboarding game, he preferred Sony's skateboarding game Sessions over that. He didn't like the Tony Hawk. He liked Sessions.
Yeah, I didn't like the Tony Hawk games, and
there you go. Yeah, but there was aggressive.
I played aggressive.
You like the inline. Yeah, so that's inline. I'm saying there is no Tony Hawk's version of inline. There's no Arlo.
We understand that that inline skating and skateboarding are different things. We still count them in the same genre, though.
Yeah, but if I wanted to play another inline game, I had no other choice besides that and ESPN.
Dude, okay.
Brett, before you go.
No, I started first.
Okay, fair. Even though I'm the host. I'm going first. All right, so it's basically like this. This is the way I see it. Like you have F1 racing and you have like Daytona racing, right? They're different things, but they're still racing.
It's still a car, though. No. It's still a car.
Yeah.
There's a skateboard and there's inline skates. Go and talk to any skateboarder and tell somebody.
It's still skating.
Okay.
All right, Brett, go ahead, bro.
They will fucking hate you.
Let me get this
Fuck
straight.
them. You know.
No. Adam's right. In one game, you start off on a skateboard and you go around racking up points by doing tricks off of obstacles in a sandbox area. The other one, you start off on inline skates and rack up points.
You don't start off. You are only on inline skates. You don't ever get on a skateboard at some point.
Well, at the time,
you're doing the same thing. You were literally doing the same thing. There were BMX games.
Throwdown.
That's like
They were
that's like in X
clones.
Games if they had. Oh yeah, so in X Games they would have skateboarders and inline doing the same thing at the same time.
No,
They're
no.
two separate events. They're two separate things.
They're doing in that specific game. You are literally doing the same
It's the
thing.
same fucking
So then,
shit.
so
man.
you're putting
this
BMX in
is-
that too. Then you're putting BMX in that too.
Logic. In real life, obviously, it is not the same thing. But the way both games,
The
are
controls. You're talking about the
they're
mechanics.
both in the same line of games, where essentially you're doing the same thing, and just the vehicle that you're doing it with is different.
But
Does it make it? Does it really?
Every
Does
race
it really?
game, it's the
Does it
same
really
racing
make
game.
it?
It's just a
Does it?
gas and a stop.
I got a better analogy, right? You could have a racing game that's on a bike, and you can have a racing game on a car. They're still racing games.
They're still racing.
because
Yeah.
this is-
Exactly.
yeah, but what he was talking about, you're not listening to him. There was two skateboarding games. He preferred one over the other. The very
I
popular.
preferred the.
You preferred an inline game
I
compared
prefer
to what other inline game?
I preferred that over the Tony Hawk game, which is essentially the same
I know
game
plenty- I
with
know
the
plenty-
skateboard.
I know plenty of people that were only skateboard. They didn't give two shits about inline because it was inline. It doesn't matter about the mechanics. They don't skate.
We're talking about games. We're not talking
He said
about
it.
actual.
He
We're
said
not
it.
talking
But
about
the
video.
dude said it. He said it. He said everybody, my friends, played the Tony Hawk skateboarding games. I preferred the session skateboarding game.
I'm saying this.
And many prefer the aggressive inline. That's
I
it.
was-
Exactly. So he doesn't
Aggressive
prefer
inline.
any skate compared to.
All right,
No, I'm
but
not talking
we're
about-
going,
I'm not
Adam.
talking
We're
about
going in
the-
fucking circles right now. Maybe that's your answer. That's your answer. We're going in
That's
fucking
my
circles
answer.
right now. Anyway, Brett, you go.
I'm sorry, I was so distracted by that I didn't have time to think of my own
All right,
answer.
I'll come back to you, Chris. Do you have one?
Yeah, actually, I preferred Saints Row 3 over GTA 4.
Oh,
I'll tell you why. GTA 4 is such a goddamn downer of a story.
it really is.
Like after playing San Andreas, where you're doing all this crazy shit at CJ. Yeah, at the end there was a serious overstory where CJ had to confront like Tenpenny and all that stuff, and his buddies betrayed him. Like, I mean, he's doing shit like parachuting to Area 51 and you're buying all these properties. There's crazy stuff in there, and you could do crazy shit in that game. And it was fun. You get to GTA 4, they just strip the fun out. They're just like, there's this bleak story about this Eastern European guy, and you go to basically fake New York and do all this crazy, stupid shit. And like you have to date and go on bowling dates with your cousin and all this. I'm like, what the fuck
Hey,
is this
Rogan.
shit? Yeah. So I was like, yeah. but
Nico
then-
Bellic.
And then you play Saints Row 3, and I was like, there it is. That's the zany fucking crazy shit I wanted.
You have to stop an alien invasion. It's like, yo.
Yeah, man.
And beat the shit out of people with a dildo. Remember that shit, man?
Yeah,
That game was
yeah.
nuts.
So yeah, that's that to me. I mean, don't get me wrong, I enjoyed GTA 4, but it was such a downer, man. And Saints Row 3 was so much fun. I was like, that's what I wanted. That's what I wanted. So yeah, I preferred that game.
Yo, I got one.
Oh.
Even though I think I'm kind of fucking up the whole thing because it's supposed to be like you're playing a less known version of a more popular thing, but I'm flipping it around, man. While people were playing Resident Evil 6, I was playing Dead Space, man. Fuck that shit.
Oh yeah, man.
I'm just
Resident Evil
saying.
6 was trash.
Trash, basura, you know? That's my answer, even though it's a bullshit answer, but whatever. Carlos.
Oh shit!
Damn, it's like that. Motherfuckers ain't
I'm just-
prepared, man.
I'm scared to answer, so Adam won't fucking get mad at me.
Oh, you know what?
No, because I'm matching it up. I'm matching it up. I preferred Quake over Doom. I
Ooh,
preferred
Adam,
Quake
that's a
over
good. That's a good one. That's a good one, y'all. So
That's because it's in the same shit. That's why. Doom. You like Doom? You know what?
excuse me.
I like Splinter Cell.
Adam, but Quake, they were using boots. The other one, they're using tennis
You're
shoes.
still FPS. They're shooting. One had an awesome nail gun and had 9 Inch Nails as a soundtrack. Can't go wrong with that. Fuck Doom.
Oh no, I can't. No, we can't let that doom slander pass in my fucking podcast, bro.
Not
Doom.
alive.
Yeah, like I thought it was just like waving the hand.
Yeah, Brett, back me up here, man. We got to defend Doom's honor here, man.
Yeah, dude. You take that back right now.
Oh man, Quake 2 for life.
Oh, you can like
No,
Quake. There's some
you
shit on
like
Doom.
Quake too. You take back that
Wait,
fuck Doom.
two?
Come on.
Yeah, but you can't say fuck Doom. Which franchise is still around?
Oh, excuse me.
Don't matter. Don't matter.
Yo, drop that bomb. Drop that bomb. Drop that bomb.
Which franchise is doomed, man?
It's the other opposite. That's what I was saying. So most people prefer Doom. I went to the opposite. I prefer Quake. Just like you preferred Saints Row over GTA.
Yeah, hey, it's a good answer.
Yeah, but I didn't say fuck GTA. You know, that's the difference.
You said fuck GTA 4.
No, he didn't.
I did.
No, he didn't.
Rewind the tape. Rewind the tape. Holy shit.
Oh, what Adam heard in his brain, he heard.
Yeah, I heard. That's what I heard. That's what I heard. You did not like Nico Bellic and Friends.
But
so
he
you said
didn't.
fuck.
No, he just said he preferred Saints Row 3, not that he hated
That's
GTA
all I
4.
said, and I gave all the credit to GTA 4. I just said
It got all
story.
simplified in Adam's
Yes.
brain.
That's it.
And I didn't say fuck the whole franchise.
It got real simple.
Are you
Real
crazy?
simple.
Let's
Yo,
go.
you smoking crack rocks, man. Damn, man.
Just a few. Just a few.
So Adam's making everything simple, but he's making skating games fucking complicated.
Because if you talk to anybody,
Because he's getting into the
Different
rig,
game?
he's getting
No.
into the
All right,
rigor.
so you don't want to know
Getting
why?
into the rigmarole of
No,
the
because-
of the differences between the
Well,
two things that are
it's not-
considered
no,
between
I
the two
wouldn't
things
compare it.
between the two things that are considered extreme sports. I also would throw the BMX games into the same genre of games. How about them apples?
Oh,
and then for that, then throw in the surfing
Uh-oh.
game.
I'd throw that shit in there too.
You can't because
And
they
the
they didn't
fucking
sell
snowboarding
well.
game.
Nobody would say, "Wow, I could get a skateboarding game," but it's just like surfing, right? Those are two same fucking things, right? I could go surf.
all right, we're getting stupid right now, man. Brett, did you come up with an answer?
I had one, but I'm not sure if it qualified.
We'll see.
Doesn't. Next,
Adam will be the judge of that.
it doesn't.
Yeah. See, okay, I liked Last Remnant over its Final Fantasy competitor. I even it was
You
10.
reminded me of something.
But the problem is, Last Remnant, you control a party of 5 characters, but each of those, you control 5 different attack groups, but each of those groups isn't one person; it's 5 people, and so it's not really the same game, even though you command 5 different groups the way you would command one single character. So you end up issuing 5 commands, and it's the exact same gameplay mechanics. But technically, there are 5 people in the group, so I don't think that counts.
All
Good
right.
answer.
Yeah. All right, Carlos. You
Not
come
by
up
Adam
with-
standards.
Yeah.
Even though it's the exact same battle mechanic.
Never by Adam standards. By Adam
Well, I'm
standards.
telling you, those things, you're losing this. If you were to look up anywhere online, look at surveys and say, "Hey, are these two the same?" No, they
All
are
right.
not.
Anyway,
Adam,
Carlos,
as somebody
yeah.
who used to skateboard and inline skate,
Oh, dude.
they
You
are
would
the
know.
same.
Me
Damn!
too.
That's it.
Teammate,
Shut it down.
you're
Shut it
opposer.
down.
You're a poser.
Oh, Brett, it's
You
like
would
that,
know.
bro. It's
You
like
would
that.
know.
It's-
You would
it's
know.
like that?
You would
Really? It's
know.
like that?
You would know that if you were skateboarding and you told your buddies, "Yo, I'm
Dude,
gonna
you're
put on my inline skates," they would do this to you and send you on your fucking way.
Dude, you're the poser because you know that it's the same thing. If you pull a trick on a bike,
Manny,
skates,
who
or a
did both?
skateboard, you
Manny,
get props.
who did both? Who did both and snowboard? Who did both and snowboard?
Who did both
There you
what?
go. Me. I did fucking everything. You can't say anything. I did it all.
Throw
I'm telling
down,
you.
man.
Dude, I thought fucking did BMX, I did inline, and I did fucking
I
skateboarding.
did skate tours with people.
Yo, just whip them out already, man. Since we're going down this route, you know.
It's two different things. Two different things.
I'm gonna defer to.
Did any of you guys skate with the 2x2 skates?
Yeah, dude, those were my favorite.
The ones with the
What?
brakes in the front in the front of the shoe.
Oh no! I know what you're talking
Yeah.
about. No. My favorite I had
Those
a
skates
tune
were
that only had
quite
2 wheels per skate. 2 wheels and then a big grind plate in the middle.
Yo, my favorite movie growing up was Brink.
I had K2 fatties. I had oxygen skates.
Oh my
See,
god.
My answer
Wearing your
is.
Janko
But by the way,
Janko jeans.
yeah. By the way, Pac Dan says that we're all getting extreme. With an X.
all extreme sports. So just throw it in.
Like, it's just different methods to kick the same tricks. Is my point. You
Yeah,
end
but
up
it's
getting
not
the same
way.
place.
But you would know. People that want to play their skateboarding games that like skateboarding would be like, "Fuck Freebooters, I'm not playing that shit." Even if it is the same
Well,
combination.
they're
of
not
fuck.
gonna want the game with the thing that they don't like, right?
That's
the
what
thing
I'm
is that-
saying.
But the core of those games,
The mechanics are the same. Yes.
that is why I like the.
No, I get what you're saying. It's just the
That's what I'm
way
saying.
the question was. It was like, hey, all my buddies prefer that skateboarding game. I prefer this. Just like someone would say,
It
hey,
was just
I
an
like
example.
Gran
It was just an example. It's just an
I
example.
think it was more of
You
the
know?
more of the sort of the type of genre type of game, and I think that's
Yeah,
what he was
here's another example. Like you could say, hey, while everybody's playing FIFA, I'm playing PES. That type of
There
shit,
you go. But
you
it's
know?
both soccer games.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
but like
makes sense.
No, but the question wasn't specific. His example was, but
His
it wasn't.
example,
But
yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So
Adam just doesn't. He thinks they're two different things. But we're not going to get into that. We already did that enough. That's it, people. We're done, man.
well, I haven't given my answer.
I thought you did give your answer, motherfucker.
What was
He
it?
likes aggressive end line better.
I don't know. I wasn't paying attention, man. What is your answer, man?
Fuck. Oh,
You better
so
hurry.
Brett reminded me of Lost Odyssey
Yeah.
because he was talking about Last Remnant. So Lost Odyssey for me is like the best Final Fantasy game ever made. It was the same people making it pretty much. What was my original answer was gonna be? Oh yeah, Adam. I know this is gonna throw. This is gonna. I don't. This is not meant to fucking do anything other than to answer my question, the one that I thought. But after what Manny did, you're gonna yell at me too. So, I like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. Yeah, it was a pretty good game. Tony Hawk 2 is pretty good too. I prefer Dave Mirra.
That's fucking biking. You would compare Matt Hoffman, BMX, to the fucking Dave Mirra.
It was the same for me. It was the same type of game. It's just
The controls were bad. The
it
controls
was just different, a different catalyst to do the same exact thing.
Then you would have liked XXXX BMX with the titties jiggling on the back.
SSX Tricky, man. Tricky was pretty good.
Well, that was a snowboard game, yeah.
Manny, I got one for you. Another one, actually. While everybody was playing Street Fighter V, you were playing Guilty Gear.
Yep.
There you go.
I still haven't played Guilty Gear.
I was playing
Guilty Gear is good stuff, man.
It's one of those sort of it's been around for years and it does have respect, but it doesn't have nearly the respect of a Street Fighter or any of the other ones.
Or Blaze Blue. I still haven't played the Blaze Blue game either.
Blaze Blue, that's another good one.
Again, Arc System Works makes solid fighting games. They've been doing it for years. I mean, I'm glad that there was the Dragon Ball Z game has been getting a lot of shine from them, but I kind of wish it was their original titles.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Rather than just the franchise that they just,
Going back to that question about studios that could blow up, do you think Arc System Works has potential to blow up next generation? But I actually have an answer, but I want to hear yours first.
I feel like they have the potential to do it. I mean, every single time that they release a new game, it seems to kind of like earn more respect to them.
Yeah.
So who knows? Maybe the new Guilty Gear will really get people involved and try to get and hit better than the last one.
I'm gonna say yes if
Dragon Ball game.
Yeah, I'm gonna say yes, depending on how well the genre does next generation. This genre of fighting games did very well, but it could change next generation. You know what I'm saying? Because let's just be honest, nowadays fighting is a niche genre, so I don't know if it could ever reach that level. But it would be cool if those games at least got on that level, like Street Fighter. That would be cool. All right. So that's that, people. So we're done here. So thank you for watching and listening. Leave us some questions in the Throwdown Discord server, and we'll answer them on next week's show. Subscribe to Throwdown on SoundCloud, iTunes, and YouTube. Follow us on Twitch, Twitter, and Facebook at Throwdown Show. Links are located in the description below. Once again, our show is Tony Polanco, and tonight I was joined by Emilio Lopez.
SSX tricky.
They should bring that shit back. That's
hell yeah, man.
I don't know what the fuck they do.
Chris Seeley.
Hey, take care, everyone.
Carlos Romero.
I wanna buy Tony a plane ticket to go to Italy so he can shit on pizza over there.
Well, that's not really pizza though. It's something else. You know?
Well, I mean, they invented it, so I just want it just be
funny
to be like, Tony, what is this shit?
Yeah, no, but I recognize that it's totally different. I think it's just like a bowl of fucking soup or something. Like it's not even pizza. I recognize it.
No, they have.
Pizza is just not.
Actually, pizza is an American thing.
Yeah, pizza is, as we know it is.
It's an American thing because it was obviously created by Italian restaurants.
Yeah, with Italian ingredients. Yeah.
But they made it into that circular thing. That was their thing. That's why it never was a thing in Italy.
Yeah,
because originally they said the Chinese had their own version of it.
Yeah, so
I'll keep it simple then. Play the people.
Yeah, all right. Adam Vale.
There you go. Have a good week, everybody. Don't drink and drive, please.
And of course, Mr. Brett Murdoch.
My favorite BMX game was Tony Hawk.
I feel like there was one where he did get on a bike, though.
Oh God,
he did get on a bike.
We'll see.
You can get off the board.
All right, man. We'll see you all next week, man. Peace out.
Later, guys.
See ya.
Peace.